I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 72 of Tales from Godric's Hollow, as I make weird noises during the introduction of this podcast. I'm sorry about that. I am one of your hosts of the show. I am the muggle of the show. I am Josh Brown. I am joined, as always, by my favorite professor on any moving train, Professor Matt Sonnenberg. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Josh.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah?
Yeah. Still going strong.
Still going strong. It's an exciting week to be a Harry Potter fan, Matt.
It is indeed.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
We have a great show ahead for you guys. I promise. We are covering chapters 6 and 7 of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. We have giveaways to do. We have emails to get to. We have all kinds of shenanigans that you're used to. But for the first time in what feels like a long time, we have breaking, earth-shattering Harry Potter news. It's going to be big.
You could say that. Yeah. It will be big. That's for sure.
We're not going to talk about that, though. I'm going to make you guys wait for just a few minutes. Because we need to start off the show as we always like to do, and that's awarding one of our wonderful listeners out there with a special prize that they're won.
All right.
For being awesome. Last week, I was so excited to announce that we are going to be giving away this week a copy of the illustrated edition of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Yes.
Just came out. Do you have it in your possession, Matt?
I do. It
How's
actually came last Tuesday. It looks, dare I say, fantastic.
So it's awesome then, huh?
Yeah. It's definitely a different art style than we've seen. There's a little blurb about the artist in the book, but as far as I know, it's not someone who's done Harry Potter art that we've seen before.
Okay.
So it's definitely a different take on some things and a different style from what we've seen. It's not the Jim Kay stuff we've seen in the other illustrated editions. It's not the who's it? Mary Grand Prix that has done the chapter introduction pictures. It's not any of those. It's I forget what her name is now, but if you haven't gotten the book yet, you should get the book because it's amazing.
So just to clarify, this is a version of the book, like the same version of the book, essentially that comes in that 3-pack of books, right?
Yes.
This is not the script version of the movie.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
This has nothing to do directly with the movie. This is the book that came in the Hogwarts Library book collection. The main difference being in the Hogwarts Library collection. Mm-hmm. I don't think you've actually seen these, Josh, but everybody else that has seen them might remember that each of the books was they kind of took it from the perspective of, oh, Harry had this book and he made notes in this book. And so there are little scrawlings from one of the characters written throughout the book. Those are not in this book. So this is kind of like a clean version of that book. Like, yeah, it could have been from a library, but it's more than likely you just bought it off the shelf.
Okay. That sounds awesome.
So same information, just different content a little bit.
Sure. But the illustrations you say are awesome. That excites me. So
worth the price of admission. Sure.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we're giving one of those away to a lucky winner here. I asked the listening audience last week to go ahead and write an email to Matt, talesfromgodricshollow@gmail.com. And what did I have the people write in to enter?
Last week we talked a lot about apparating. So you wanted to know, where would they apparate?
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I totally spaced that one off. With the exception of apparating to or from Hogwarts, of course.
Because you can't do that.
Right. So we have to pick a winner, and then we get to talk about the winner's choice of where they're going to apparate to, and either make fun of them or congratulate them on picking something awesome.
Yes, indeed.
What numbers do I have to choose from here, Matt?
This week you have 1 through 17.
1 through 17, huh?
Yes.
It is November 13th right now.
Okay.
The podcast will be releasing on November 15th.
Will it?
Right?
Yeah, it's supposed to.
Okay. I mean, it should. If
we
scheduling
had some
goes
problems last week.
according to plan. Hey, look, Matt. Nobody was sitting there on Twitter saying, "Oh, what an awful thing it is that this podcast got released early."
Mm-hmm.
It was, like I said on the text, it was much better than being released late. Could you imagine how much flack we would have gotten if it had posted not when it was supposed to, but much later than that?
A lot easier to correct.
True. But this one didn't even require correcting. That's the best part. No corrections needed. As somebody put it, Christmas came early for our listening audience last week.
Yeah.
Actually, I have no idea what happened. I did everything textbook as I do every single week. Nothing changed in how I uploaded the podcast. Sometimes things just don't go your way, Matt.
It's true.
But they went the listening audience's way, so
Also true.
no arguments there. In theory, on paper, the podcast should be releasing November 15th. Today's the 13th. Let's go ahead and pick lucky number 14.
Right in the middle.
Split the difference, Matt.
All right. That belongs to Vanessa.
Vanessa, congratulations, Vanessa.
Vanessa simply says, as many people did, I kind of, if I had to predict one place, this is the place I would have predicted that we get answers for. Next best thing in the Muggle world, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Good call. Now, I appreciate that, but it also seems like you're kind of breaking the law.
Why is that?
I mean, you're not paying for a ticket.
True.
But then again, like, if you're able to perform...
yeah. Do you think wizards actually pay for tickets for that stuff?
No. And
the
if
Muggle
there's
world?
one place that they could get away with something like that, it would be there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No one's going to question it.
That's a good answer. I like that. I appreciate that. Now, did Vanessa say Hollywood or Florida?
She did not confirm which one. I'm going to have to assume Florida. It's better. It really is.
Yeah, except you're in Florida.
Yeah, but you're just visiting.
But what if
can
you
apparate out.
something happens and you can't apparate anymore and you're stuck in Florida?
That would be not cool.
Right. I mean, would you rather be stuck in SoCal or stuck in Florida? Brent,
Well,
I know you're pulling over the side of the road to angrily shake your fist right now, but we all know the truth here, Brent. Just saying.
yeah.
You guys, be specific next time. There's 2 different Wizarding Worlds, for crying out loud. But she
Very
probably
true.
wants to go see the dragon on top of the bank. As do I, Matt. As do I.
I know. Someday.
Congratulations to Vanessa, and thank you to everybody that participated in that and wrote in. I hope everybody still picks up that book, checks it out, because it sounds amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on a copy of my own, Matt, so I could give it a full review, because I care a lot about that kind of stuff.
It's true.
Yes. Stick around for the end of the show. We got another cool gift to give away. Really cool gift. You'll really like this one. Everybody will be just jazzed about this. I'm sure of it. So we'll do that at the end of the show. Okay, Matt, it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't even want to talk about like what we read. Like, let's just skip all of that. Totally unnecessary.
No, you want to talk about that too, and you know it. But
okay.
We can talk about something else first.
So, it had been long rumored, heavily speculated, but never official until last week when a report came out and then was followed up pretty much immediately by absolute confirmation by the company that Niantic, the video game development company that is responsible for Pokemon Go, is creating a brand new game based on the Harry Potter franchise called Wizards Unite.
Indeed.
Holy cow.
It's big news.
It'll launch sometime in 2018. I have one big concern.
Yeah.
If it launches before we finish up this series, Matt, I can't touch that thing.
Exactly. I've thought about that too, because I've thought about like what could be going on in this game, and yeah, it's gonna be the exact same reason why I can't let you pick up some of the other books that have come out recently. Like, it would totally make sense to fit into this game, and it just can't. It would almost be hard not to put some of this stuff in the game.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. At this point, we don't know anything about it, really. We know that it'll be location-based, a lot like Pokemon Go. There'll be spell casting and teaming up to defeat bosses, essentially. They promise some sort of fantastic beasts being around in the game, legendary creatures. But we don't know much other than that. Like, it's very vague right now. They haven't said anything. But if we're not done with book 7, Matt, like, there's no way I can even come close to it.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I mean, the good news is we are ahead of our original schedule.
Right.
Things have sped up. Our original schedule, I think I just mapped out like 2 chapters a week through every book forever. And yeah, that put us at like a little over 2 years or at 2 years or something like that. So we've already cut back a few weeks, and yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah. I'm hoping that I will be able to participate from day one, because if not, I'm going to need everybody out there to play as much of it as they possibly can, as quick as they possibly can, to tell me how badly I need to stay away from it.
Yeah.
You know, the moment somebody, a spoiler pops up in any shape or form that we haven't gotten to at that point, done. It's over for me.
I mean, the worst part about it is that if it's anything like, okay, I haven't played Pokemon Go myself personally, but of course everybody else in the world has. So from what I've heard and how random Pokemon Go can be, things can just pop up at any time and any place almost. Like, it's hard to predict exactly.
Yeah.
Like, if it's anything like that, like, everybody could play it, but your experience could be completely different as to what you would run into.
Right.
So it's just hard to say. Like, yeah, I think you're just gonna have to stay away from it regardless of, unless we're done with the series.
Exactly. So I'm hoping for a late 2018 launch, but something tells me they launched Pokemon Go at the beginning of the summer, knowing people were going to be out and about. Summertime, people are outside walking around. So I have a hunch it'll be that, but there are important dates in the Harry Potter lore fall.
Also true.
So like maybe they'll be shooting for that. I don't know. I just know that I so badly want this thing, Matt.
Yeah.
I want it so bad. We're gonna do something kind of abnormal here on this show.
Something we haven't done in a long time.
It's been a long time since we've done this, but I feel like it's appropriate. We have an email that we're going to do right here, right now.
Oh, I thought we were going to do a recap.
A recap?
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Of what?
It's okay. Something we haven't done in a very long time.
I see, Matt. Yeah. We're going to have a positive recap. That's what we're going to do.
Okay.
No, Matt, we have an email.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Who's our email from?
Our email, believe it or not, came in 4 days ago from Atari Alex.
Whoa. Hold the phone. Alex emailed before the weekend even started?
Yes.
Who is this guy? And what did he do to steal Atari Alex's email login?
Don't worry. He sent another email late in the week.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What did Alex have to say about this?
Well, he says, Dear Josh and Matt, some big news broke yesterday that got the whole wizarding world in a frenzy. Except for me, that is.
Oh, no.
I know. Surprise, surprise. Alex is being negative about Harry Potter stuff. Well, permit me to tell you why I'm not looking forward to Harry Potter Wizards Unite.
Okay.
Before I give you my reasons, let me qualify pretty much everything I'm going to say. There are practically no details on this app, and until it comes out and I can actually get my hands on it, my immediate reactions ultimately mean nothing. That being said, my initial impressions are still negative, and here's why. I have three main reasons I'm not super excited for this game. The first is that Niantic, the creators of Pokemon Go, and the developers of this new game, don't have a great track record. Pokemon Go is still a buggy mess of an app. For me, at least, the app randomly crashes at least once every time I try to play it. Trading and 1v1 battling were promised when the first game was first announced, yet here we are over a year later, and they're still nowhere to be seen.
Stop right there.
Know. Yep.
They have just recently purchased another mobile game development company that specializes in social interaction amongst users, which people are leading to believe will help push along the trading and the 1v1 experience of the game.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yes, it's late, but they are working towards it.
Okay. It says the gym system, while serviceable and certainly improved since launch, can't really be called fun or exciting gameplay. All that is to say, unless Niantic doubles their staff, they will be splitting their time between the two apps, rather than perfecting one before moving on to the other. And I don't think anyone wins in that situation. That I can see as a valid argument.
Sure.
Which seems, it feels like they should be expanding after how successful Pokemon Go was. Like, seeing the numbers and how much people spend on that, like,
yeah.
I think they have the ability to expand. Whether or not they have, I have no idea. Or whether or not they're planning to, I have no idea.
Right.
Second, Pokemon was the perfect franchise for the idea Niantic laid out. The blueprints were already there. Between the premise and creatures from the main series, Pokemon games and the real-world location data gathered in Ingress, taking the Harry Potter label, slapping it over Pokemon Go, and calling it a day is not an instant recipe for success. Again, we don't know what kind of goals or gameplay they have planned for Wizards Unite, but I can't think of anything that would be as inherently fun as exploring to catch Pokemon. That's not to say they can't come up with good ideas, but the fact that they're taking two wildly successful IPs and mashing them together sets off a loud cash grab alarm in my head. Also, this seems like a good time to say that I disagree with Jason's desire to swing my phone around like a wand. That's just begging for it to go flying out of my hand. And that's something I honestly did think about because, Jason and I had this discussion on Twitter that, it has to involve the gyroscope in there and some kind of wand-waving, wand motion movement thing. Like, it's Harry Potter. That totally makes sense.
Yeah, but everybody thought that about throwing Pokeballs in Pokemon. And probably a good decision that they didn't go that route. There will be so many broken phones, Matt.
Well, you see, and that's what got me thinking. It's like, that's a marketing opportunity for someone.
Yeah.
To create the cell phone strap.
Right.
Like we have, like every Nintendo product has had for the past, since the Wii.
But that's also like Nintendo putting their name on it, saying, hey, this will prevent this from getting broken. Like,
true.
Do you really think like a third party out there is going to make some sort of like phone case that they will guarantee will keep your phone from flailing around safely?
It won't be an ironclad guarantee.
Sure.
But like, there's going to be fine print that's, keeps them safe and says, yeah, that there is no guarantee essentially. Right. But
if you're dumb, you're still going to break your phone.
Like I'm saying, there's going to be definitely be a market out there for it.
Yeah.
And I mean, how else? I mean, what are you going to draw a little squiggle on your screen as your wand movement? That doesn't feel as exciting.
No, but
at the same time, okay, you can argue that throwing a Pokeball, like you get groups of people together and just sit there and throw Pokeballs.
Right, and all you're doing is swiping up.
Yep.
It's not as exciting, but I don't think people are going to be playing this game for a realistic 1-to-1 representation of being a wizard and having actual duels. I think there's different spaces that could be used for that. Like the fact that we don't have anything in VR for Harry Potter yet is bonkers to me. Because like that would be such an amazing thing to do,
Well, PlayStation did have do you remember the Wonderbook stuff? Yeah, they had a lot of Harry Potter stuff with that.
Yeah. And those were using the Move controllers, which you use with PlayStation VR now. So I think getting that more accurate wand-holding simulation could be better in something that's not using your $1,000 iPhone to pretend you're holding a wand.
So they sell Bluetooth wands along with it that connect to your phone.
See, now we're talking.
There you go.
Now we're talking.
Give me like a $20 Bluetooth wand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Done. I don't want to be waving my phone around like a wand, but you give me the opportunity to have a Bluetooth wand. Yeah. Absolutely. There's so many possibilities with this thing, Matt.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm sorry that Alex isn't excited, though.
Yeah. He's not done yet, though. So.
Oh, okay.
My final point is more personal than anything else, but I'm sure I'm not the only one with this problem. I am an avid player of Pokemon Go. My wife would say obsessed, but potato, potato. I play every single day, and I typically spend at least an hour each weekday walking around, hitting Pokestops, catching Pokemon, and hatching eggs. Even if Wizards Unite comes out, and I end up really liking it, I can't play both games at the same time, and I'm too invested in Pokemon Go to give it up now. I could maybe alternate days between the two apps, but splitting my time would mean that I just progress more slowly in both games. The only real solution would be buy a second phone.
Oh, I've already gone down that thought road.
But even if I could afford that, my wife would probably kill me.
Yeah.
So basically, no matter what happens, I won't be playing Wizards Unite after the first week. I don't know what percentage of frequent Pokemon Go players are also big Harry Potter fans, but I'm sure I can't be the only one. So while Wizards Unite will certainly attract a new audience, they will most likely be losing out on that small cross section.
He says that now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then it turns out to be awesome. Like, between those two games and the new Animal Crossing game that's coming out, I am seriously thinking about what it would take to get a second phone that is dedicated to just playing games. That way I have my other phone that I use for like my work stuff and my social media and podcasts and everything else that's not going to drain any more battery than what all of these games are going to do to my phone.
Yeah. So basically you're buying a second phone that's not a phone.
Yeah.
It's just a gaming device.
Right. Exactly.
Which seems crazy until you think about, well, what is a Game Boy? What is a 3DS? It's a portable gaming device that you spent hundreds of dollars on that you just play games. It doesn't make phone calls.
Right.
It doesn't do any of that.
Yep.
Now, what are they trying to do with mobile games? What they're trying to integrate it with something you already have on you, your phone.
Sure.
But yeah, we're getting to the point where having a separate device, again, almost makes more sense.
Yeah. I'll carry a second phone just for that.
Now the question is, can you buy a second phone without the phone plan and still have it work?
Yeah, because you could get like the burner phones that you could just add minutes to and data packages.
I suppose.
And then I could use my phone now and create a hotspot because I have unlimited data on this, and then create a hotspot, and then essentially use my other phone and pick up the Wi-Fi from this one.
Yep.
It's possible, Matt. It's doable. Let's just see what this game entails, though.
Yeah.
You know, we have time.
Big question mark yet.
I don't think we're going to hear much from them the rest of the year.
No, I wouldn't expect anything till next year.
Yeah, they'll get us through the holidays and everything like that. Then once everybody has their new phones from Christmas and devices and whatnot, then they'll start pushing out some information. Like, oh, you want something to do with these new devices? Boom, here we go. So,
yeah.
Last year, I mean, they revealed Pokemon Go, but like the first time we actually saw anything from it was a Super Bowl commercial.
Was that the first time?
Yep. Because everybody was like, it was like the one time where all of like the video game geeks out there that hate football were like watching the Super Bowl.
What are you
just
talking
for this
about?
Ad.
Those are like my two favorite things. Come on.
No. Plenty of us fit into both of them.
There is a small cross section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But some of them out there just have no interest in sports, and that's cool. But they were all about that Pokemon commercial at the Super Bowl. So
it's true.
And
audience.
That commercial didn't really accurately portray the game, but it got it into people's consciousness and got their attention and made them know about it. So I kind of wouldn't be surprised to see them do it again, Like, could you imagine watching the Super Bowl and then all of a sudden you hear Hedwig's charm playing?
Theme, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you'll lose your mind, Matt.
I was going to say, like, I can't tell you, like, prior to that commercial, I probably hadn't seen a Pokemon commercial since I was, like, I don't know, 14 or something like that.
Right.
Because that's just not when they play that type of stuff. And so, yeah, I don't know if I've ever, well, no, there's probably been, like, Wizarding World commercials that I've seen, Universal commercials.
Sure.
Yeah. But generally speaking, yeah, you don't see Harry Potter commercials, so
no.
Yeah, that would definitely be something different, but a huge franchise that people love would tune in for.
Yeah. So that's what we have to say about that. I'm sure a lot of people are excited for a potential Butterbeer banter episode about this news. Without a whole lot of details, it would be hard for us. Like, we could go on and just speculate about what could happen, what we want to happen, and that kind of thing. And maybe we'll still do that. But we wanted to address it now. It was huge news. It got me excited as a newfound Harry Potter fan, and then instantly sad about it because, again, depending on when it's released, it could just be something that I can have to pretend doesn't exist.
Yeah. One more thing you can't touch. One more toy you can't play with.
I just want it to be over, Matt. Just give me. Man, the day that I'm able to just absorb everything, the moment I'm able to click on Pottermore website, Matt, It's done. You will never talk to me again. I'm just going to fall into the deepest, darkest rabbit hole there is.
As long as you record it.
It'll be good times. So as we know more, we'll keep you guys informed of what's going on with that. But let us know. What are you guys thinking about? Maybe we'll use that for a Butterbeer Banter episode. What you're excited about, what you want, what you expect, what you're disappointed by. Start writing in those emails. talesfromgodricshollow@gmail.com. Maybe we'll start compiling them and make a little community thing about it. Because this is going to be such a community-driven thing.
Absolutely.
And we have such an awesome community here, it kind of goes hand in hand. So, with that being said, Matt, let's get to this week's reading. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, chapters 6 and 7.
You got it. Chapter 6, Draco's Detour. Yeah.
Okay.
2 new characters. Did you catch them?
Boy.
I'd actually be surprised if you did.
I vaguely remember hearing one name where I said to myself, that's probably a new character, but it went by so fast that I didn't even think twice about it. So, no.
So there are 2 names. One was Archie Philpott, which was, just a character that was mentioned because something happened to him. We didn't really get a lot of details. And then there was Verity, which is apparently an employee at Fred and George's shop.
I don't remember there being a name associated with that person.
Yeah.
Huh.
It just comes so briefly.
Right.
That she just poked her head in the door, and they addressed her by name, which was awesome. But
maybe it was just
once again
unusual name that I didn't even think twice about it.
Yeah.
All right.
No details. So
chapter 6, Matt. I'm going to tell you right off the bat here.
Yeah.
I loved this chapter.
It's good to hear.
My favorite chapter of the book.
Okay. Well, given your reactions to the first 5 chapters of this book, I don't think that was too hard. But
sure. I
mean,
mean,
we'll take it.
There was a slight incline of interest level as we went up the chapter scale. And I was just I was expecting just a little bit more, And then chapter 6 happened, and I was like, "Yep, nope. This chapter right here symbolizes so much of why I love the Harry Potter series."
Awesome.
It's fun. It's whimsical. It makes me feel like magic is happening.
Yep.
I love being in Diagon Alley. I don't like being in this Diagon Alley particularly.
Sure.
But I kind of had to look past that, and it just even the Burrow is a magical place, sure, but it's still just a house,
Yep.
But like Diagon Alley, man, like this is the magical world.
Yeah. And we'll get to it in the email section if you don't bring it up first, but I think there's actually a very good reason why you get that feeling here.
Okay. I mean, the twins help, right?
Sure.
But
yeah, we love the twins.
It like I say, it's the physical representation of the magical world. It's a living, breathing marketplace, but for wizards and witches.
Mm-hmm.
But before we even get to this sad, depressing Diagon Alley that is.
Yep. We got a few things before that.
Yeah. We're still in the Burrow.
Yep.
Right. How can J.K. Rowling even decide to talk about the Weasley Garden and the outside around the Burrow and not even give us an update or a status update on the gnome situation?
Maybe it's not gnome season. They're hibernating. They just
because
got cleaned out.
Harry was there de-gnoming the garden same time a few years ago.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe Bill already took care of him before he got there.
Maybe. I just want to know about that kind of stuff, Matt. I'm concerned about the gnome situation at the Burrow.
Well, you can ask JK later. Maybe she'll respond again.
Yeah, I'll see what's up. I'll get some information on this because I doubt anybody's dove into this subject. So I'll take one for the team here.
Okay.
Kind of out of nowhere, we get an announcement of a death.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
Well, she wants you to know what's going on in the world, and things are happening.
Bad things are happening, Matt. Don't sugarcoat it. Igor is dead.
Karkaroff, yep.
He's gone. He's no more.
They found him dead underneath the dark mark.
I feel like we all saw this coming, eventually.
Well, I mean, we knew that he was on the run.
Yeah.
And
but we also knew that he was like, there was a price put on his head. We had that hunch.
Yeah. Like, as they described here, like, they're amazed that he made it a year.
Right.
When other folks only made it a couple days before Voldemort found him. And yeah.
Tom wanted him dead. It was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But we also found out that the Ice Cream Man and our dear friend Ollivander are missing. They're gone.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not a lot of details. We just know that they're missing.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yep.
What do the Death Eaters want with those guys? I mean, Ollivander, I can understand. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's in charge of wands, which is...
Yeah. A wand maker makes a little more sense than the ice cream vendor.
Yeah. But I don't know.
Maybe Voldemort has a sweet tooth.
Maybe. Or maybe this ice cream vendor is more than meets the eye, I started thinking about his name, Fortescue. It's a very regal name.
Yeah.
It sounds like it has some power behind it. I don't know. Maybe he's more... like Harry even pointed out, like he was the guy that gave him free ice cream for like a whole summer. Why did he do that?
He's now officially a recurring character.
Sure. Why? At the time it was like, okay, this guy probably just felt sorry for this stupid kid that was hanging around all day and just gave him free ice cream. But now, like, you have to stop and think about.
It was Harry Potter.
That's also true.
He knew it was Harry Potter.
That's also true. But now he's missing, and now what was once a clear picture is now feeling like a puzzle. It's all mixed up.
Yeah.
We gotta put the pieces back together here. What connections can Tom and Harry have to this ice cream maker? Have I heard that last name anywhere else? What connections can I possibly make with this? I don't know. But there's something there. So, when we find the ice cream maker and we find out what he's up to or why he was taken, we will know. Mark it on your calendars, folks, that I predicted something big from the ice cream maker on this episode.
Sure.
Ollivander's just a given. That's a slam dunk. Wands are important. And Harry and Tom have very similar wands, you could say. Their connection seems to come into physical reality because of their wands. So we'll see. I predict it's going to be many, many chapters before we get back to solving any of these riddles.
Sure.
So, yeah. Who's going to be in charge of Durmstrang now, Matt?
That is a good question. Well, I mean, if Karkarov's been on the run for a while, who has been in charge of Durmstrang?
It's a good question.
I mean, you figure they have to have some kind of, deputy headmaster, kind of like we have McGonagall here.
Yeah. They have to have a McGonagall there, right?
You'd think so. Karkarov doesn't teach the whole school.
I don't really know like how good he was at his job before anyway, so maybe we're gonna have what's his name take over the school.
Lockhart?
No, Matt, why would you say his name?
Because I have no idea who he's the first guy that came to mind.
Victor
I don't know
Crumb.
Really? You think Crumb could take over?
I don't know. Dumbledore seemed young when he took over Hogwarts.
He wasn't 18. Like, he was a teacher for many years before he became headmaster. Because, like, when we went to flashbacks with Tom Riddle, he was just Professor Dumbledore.
That's true. I'm just thinking of dark, scary characters that could go up there and take over that school.
Why does it have to be dark and scary?
Because they're a dark and scary school, Matt. They thrive on teaching dark arts and there's something off with them. I don't trust them. Push comes to shove, I don't think they're helping out Hogwarts in this whole war. If that even comes to it, I don't know. Maybe we'll never even see him again. Why? I'm possibly stressing out about something that will never have any impact at all.
It's hard to say.
We'll see.
I mean, the whole point, though, of them resurrecting the Triwizard Tournament was that Dumbledore knew something was happening, and he wanted to make the ties stronger between wizards.
Yeah.
But like that was really the underlying purpose that not everybody understood necessarily, especially at that time. But that's kind of what he was getting at.
I just honestly don't want to spend too much mental stress thinking about Durmstrang.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. You got plenty of other things to talk about.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure.
Come on now. If they come back in the picture, then it'll be, okay, cool, that happened. But, I care less what's going on up there. Harry Potter is the Quidditch captain.
Yeah, about time, right?
For Gryffindor. Yeah, it seemed like that was going to happen, right? Eventually.
Well, as long as he didn't have a lifetime ban on him. Yeah,
that's true. So, what's her name was 7th year then last year? I'm assuming.
Oh, their last Quidditch captain. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I always forget which year everybody is, and it gets messy in my head.
Well, yeah, she was in the same year as Fred and George.
Okay.
Yeah, they were all in their final year, but Fred and George quit. Okay. She was still at school, but then she got out of there.
I guess the only reason I have to question that is because Harry's only in his 6th year, and now he's captain, so...
Yeah, but Wood was there for a few years.
That's true. Again, Matt, bad memories. I'm just making sure that she didn't get replaced. I mean...
No, she graduated.
She didn't get,
we assume
downgraded.
She graduated.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, we could probably feel confident in thinking that we might get an actual Quidditch chapter this book. Cross your fingers.
You'd hope so.
Let's see. Diagon Alley. Like, there's so much happening in this chapter, Matt. Like, I want to go like one thing at a time, and we're going to be here all night doing it.
Yep.
Hagrid's back.
He is.
Thank goodness. He just makes me smile, that big ol' oaf. He's doing well. He's happy to report that Witherwings is doing well as well. AKA Buckbeak.
Yep.
It is
good job with the name.
Witherwings, right?
Yes, Witherwings. Yes.
Happy to be outside, being a wild but still domesticated hippogriff.
Yep.
Good. I'm happy Hagrid's back. He's in a good mood. He's happy to see the trio. We're always happy to see him.
So I have to ask.
Yeah.
Because I made a note of this because it's one thing you've always brought up.
Okay.
When Hagrid's around Muggles, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And you always wonder, like, why people aren't staring at him. And you're like, oh, it only take, 2 lines of text to explain this.
Right.
Did you catch it this time?
Something about how Hagrid didn't even notice that people were staring at him.
Yeah.
Because he was just so excited to be there with the trio.
Yeah. He beaming at the sight of Harry's face and oblivious to the startled stares of passing Muggles. Mm-hmm. So, there you go. The Muggles do notice him, but...
That still doesn't explain what I need explaining. Because, like, they're just walking by this half-giant and be thinking, oh, he's pretty big. Like, he's not, like, just an 8-foot guy that you would say, oh, he should be playing basketball, Like, he's a big man. Like, far bigger than anybody should ever be standing on the street.
What are they going to do? I mean, do you call the police? What's your emergency? There is a really big guy walking around. What's he doing? Walking? Is he doing anything wrong? No, he's really big. Like,
stop and ask him, like, who? Like, where did you come from? Why are you so big?
Would you want to stop and talk to a giant 3 times your size?
You know the answer to that, Matt, before you even asked it. Yes, of course I would.
Would you have the courage to walk up to a giant 3 times your size?
That dude is huggable as anybody you could possibly meet. Hagrid looks absolutely just...
Because you know him.
That's possible.
I mean, Hagrid, I don't think has that, welcoming look to him.
Sure. Okay.
It's not that grandfatherly, gentle kind of look. He's rough and ragged and got hair sticking all over the place.
I guess I need to like dive into like the tabloids or something in the Muggle world here, because people see Bigfoot and they lose their mind, right? Like it's the biggest thing in their lives.
Sure.
I kind of, feel the same way about seeing Hagrid just standing on the side of the road. Like that would be the most unexplainable thing you've ever seen in your entire life.
And would you run up and ask Bigfoot a question?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
You're asking the wrong person these questions, man.
I guess we differ on that, yeah.
But at the very least, they're going and they're telling somebody at a newspaper or a TV station or, because this is... I keep thinking this is present day, and they're like, everybody's taking out their phones, and they're taking pictures of them, and they're tweeting about it, and Instagramming, and Snapchatting, and all that. Back then, like, you didn't have all that stuff, so people would just, like, probably go into, like, their AOL chat room or something and talk about it.
And okay, so what's to say that if it became a problem that the ministry is not just obliviating these people's memories?
See? That's fine. If that's happening, cool. Just tell me that's happening. I have a hard time wrapping my head around somebody seeing Hagrid and it not being the most breathtaking thing that they've ever seen in their entire life, and the most confusing and the most shocking, and like you would think like all the tabloids like the next day would be like, people see giant-sized man hanging out with some kids on a street corner in downtown London. Like, I don't know. Like, even if they went to the police or something, like, he's gone before anybody would show up to investigate further. But maybe I just want the dumb side stories that I'll never get. Like, I want to be inside the head of the Muggle walking down the street who runs into Hagrid, and then what they think at the moment, and then what happens after seeing Hagrid. Fanfic on your way.
I'm trying to wonder if that can be the plot of Wizards Unite. But probably not, because you'd be playing a Muggle.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work. Okay.
I'm going to call my short story Hagrid and the Muggles.
All right.
Okay.
We'll be waiting for it.
Okay.
Right after book 7, folks.
You got me all worked up about people seeing Hagrid.
Yep.
Love it. Okay, so we're in Diagon Alley.
We are.
No more Muggle universe out there. This is all magical folk in here.
We've passed the brick wall.
Yeah, thankfully. Pink umbrella and all.
Yep.
It's been a while since we've seen that pink umbrella in action.
Sure.
I miss it. I do. This isn't your mom and dad's Diagon Alley, Matt. Well,
No.
actually,
Well,
might
it could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a war. We just haven't heard about it.
Maybe this was your mom and dad's Diagon Alley. It's not the Diagon Alley what we're used to. It's dark and dreary, and there's shops closed up, and there's creepy vendors selling probably bootleg fake stuff, and
Yeah.
big old warning posters about what to do if there's an attack, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not the happiest place on earth, you know? But it's still Diagon Alley, for crying out loud.
It is. Still good stuff going on there.
I do feel like, and I don't, maybe it's just me, but I feel like everybody is being a little overly cautious. And I say that knowing that 2 of the shop owners are gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like having to like split up and make sure everybody is like on the buddy system, and like in my head it's like, what's gonna happen in broad daylight in Diagon Alley? You know, surrounded by everybody that has wands ready to draw. And
someone even makes that point. Is like, yeah, no one's gonna attack us all in broad daylight.
Right. I mean, the shop owners were probably taken in the middle of the night. You know.
Yeah. Like I said, we don't really have any details of what happened to them. We just see the result.
Right.
They're gone.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's going a little too far. With
Absolutely, but I think that's part of the problem, as we've seen, is the ministry. They have everybody in a frenzy.
Yeah. Oh, big
and then
time.
they put out these like bogus rules and guidelines and safety guidelines that don't really do anything at all, and they just have everybody worked up.
Mm-hmm.
And we need more people like Dumbledore, who's still calm as can be.
Mm-hmm. I heard he's pretty good at magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got style.
He does. So the trio and the Weasleys split up. Ginny can't hang out with the trio because why?
It wouldn't be a trio.
She's babied a little bit too much.
Yeah, but that's Mrs. Weasley. It's
100%.
her grasping onto Ginny is her baby.
Yeah.
Well, the last of the Weasley clan right now.
But it's also this sort of thing that also makes it really hard for me to see Ginny as just being 1 year behind them, as now 6 years. You know, like she's still the baby little sister.
Yeah.
In my head. Because of stuff like this. It's like, well, she had to tag along with mom and dad because she couldn't hang out with the big kids. You know, it's like, well, she's 1 year younger than them, you know?
Yeah.
Makes my head all messed up. This is the part of the chapter which was not super awesome. We ran into Draco and Narcissa.
We did.
The trio did, I should say. Malfoys, I really dislike them as a family. Just overall, blanket statement, I hate the Malfoys, Matt.
That's the way they're written. They're hard to find any sort of redeeming quality.
Yeah, like not even close in this chapter.
I remember, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, that that you're saying, like, we don't really know too much about Narcissa.
Right. Yeah.
We don't know if she married into, the whole Death Eater thing, or if she was a Death Eater too, and that's how they met, and that like,
right.
How did this all go down? But this is we got a little taste of her in the first chapter of this book, but it was completely different circumstance.
Yeah. And it was also overshadowed by how awful Bellatrix was.
Yes. So then now we get her not only with Draco, but out in public with other wizards.
Yeah.
And yeah.
She's pretty awful.
She plays the Malfoy through and through.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a Malfoy. She's something else, man. She's a overly protective mother. I get that.
Sure.
But she's just not a good person at all. Once she dropped Sirius's name the way she did, I was like, you know what? Okay. Now I'm having a hard time, like, rationalizing your attitude right now.
Yeah. Like, there's protecting your own, but then she goes on the offensive and harasses 16-year-old kids.
Yeah. Trying to provoke them. Draco's doing the same. Draco's just being he's not a nice person. He's spoiled rotten to the core, and he's really awful to other people.
Yeah.
Anybody and everybody that he has a chance to be awful to.
And honestly, his dad almost was better for him in these situations, because he would be like, I would see him kind of telling Draco to shut up and back off.
Yeah.
Like that like he Lucius always kind of had that, that pride. He wanted to be respected
a
little bit more. And so he wouldn't be the one to necessarily, like, directly attack people and put them down quite as much, I feel.
Snake in the grass type of situation.
Yeah. And so, like, he would tell Draco to back off a little bit, whereas Narcissa almost, like, joins in with him in attacking him.
Yeah, it's pretty upsetting. I'm glad overall cooler heads prevailed. Poor shopkeeper, like, she had her hands full.
Yeah, Madam Malkin.
Yeah.
Sad day. Just trying to run her shop, but...
Yeah, it's unusual times in Diagon Alley for sure.
Yeah.
Not being helped much at all by the Malfoys. So we need a pick-me-up after that, right? It was like, man, this is... This is awful. I can't deal with a whole chapter about how awful the Malfoys are. I don't know.
It doesn't help that the chapter is titled after Draco.
Yeah, so I'm like, that's probably not the only time we get Draco. And, like, I honestly can't deal with a whole chapter about Draco. Matt, I can't do it.
Yeah, I understand.
So we need something to brighten the mood a little bit, and
yes, JK's timing back again.
So perfect. Now, before we get into visiting Fred and George's brand new shop,
sure,
I have a question.
Okay.
Ron had mentioned that him and Harry are not going to be studying potions anymore.
Yes.
Is that because of how bad they did on their owls?
So we learned that Professor Snape requires an E on their owl in order to continue taking potions. Like, he will only accept the E students into his Newt level courses.
Okay. I thought that's what those...
Yeah. So since they... Wait, did I say E?
Probably.
O.
Oh, I don't...
The top grade.
Sure.
He requires the top grade in order to get into his Newt level courses.
Right.
And since they did not get the O, they are not able to take his class.
Okay. Which they're not bummed about.
No. I mean, other than like we said, Harry can't continue down his horror track.
Sure.
Like that. I mean, because potions was a vital part of that.
Right.
But other than that, yeah, they're not too bummed about not, having class with Snape.
Right.
Like, it's not the worst thing in the world.
It was just a casual mention by Ron, but I had to try to figure out why him and Harry weren't taking anymore.
I mean, you kind of had to piece it all together, because that goes way back to last book when Harry had the conversation with McGonagall about what he needed to do to become an Auror, and then who accepts what grades, and then their exam results in this book. Like, you have to piece all those together.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I just need to clarify that for my own sanity's sake.
Yeah, it's between their grades and the teacher's requirements.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Fred and George have a shop.
They do.
Boy, howdy, is it amazing.
Yeah. This is honestly one of the reasons I love Fred and George so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it before, but I am an entrepreneur at heart, and I love everything they do.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so many things they do right.
Right.
It's like, I wish it could be you.
The best thing about everything that they're doing is the fact that it is such high-level magic that they're doing to create these things, and that everybody notices and pays attention to and gives them credit for. They're just astonished by what they're able to create.
Yeah, but like that's one of my favorite lines is Hermione walks into the shop and starts looking at the stuff they're offering, and she's impressed.
Right. Yeah.
And for Hermione to be impressed with someone other than like a professor, like, that is high praise. Like, because she more than most of the other students in there knows how hard it is to do this magic.
Right. Yeah. Ron's just like, this is cool stuff, whatever.
Exactly. They don't give a second thought about how it was created. It's just like, oh, that's cool. I want that, sure. But Hermione understands what's behind it and realizes, just how much work went into it and how good they are at what they do.
Right. Which says something, because all we ever hear about them is like how poorly they ever did on tests, and like, they weren't the smartest Weasleys in the bunch, and it's like, no, like, they were so good at what they were doing, like, it didn't matter.
Aren't the end all.
Right. Yeah. I love it.
There's just you don't have to be a good test taker to be good at life.
Right. I just love these two characters. The more and more time we spend with them, it's just like, you guys are amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Everything about the shop sounds awesome. They have a daydream potion.
They do?
Which is awesome. It basically creates a daydream for you in
lasts about 30 minutes.
Yeah, perfect for a class.
Yep.
They know their audience so well. Yeah. They also have a section.
Like that's kind of what I picture. I mean, we saw it more towards the end of their stay at Hogwarts, where they're actually like testing stuff. But honestly, their entire 6 years there were market research.
Right.
They were learning about their audience.
Absolutely. And probably before that too, with like Ron and Ginny growing up,
Sure. Yeah. I'm sure they were playing jokes on them all the time.
I feel like this has been a long time coming. They have a section dedicated to the Muggle magic tricks.
Yes.
Which had me hysterically laughing. It was just so good. So good. Because all I could picture is just Mr. Weasley hanging out in that section and just jaw dropped, giddy as, all get up, looking at all these things, and so good. So good. And they even say they're not the best sellers, but people like it.
There is a market.
Yeah.
It's like we gotta have them in stock, because that, like, it looks good on the shelf and people like to look at it. It brings people in, but They're not the money makers.
Right. Let's see. We found out that they're making shield spells.
Yeah, they are apparently very good at shields, and then they basically enchant different items.
Right.
To
be shields.
Use as shields. Yeah.
And the ministry is ordering them in bulk.
Yeah, that's always a huge thing when you get that bulk sale. Like I've always said, like if I could invent a product, I don't care what it is. I don't care how it doesn't mean to be an expensive product. It can be a product that sells for $5, right?
Yeah, right.
And it's if you get your product into Walmart, like you've made it,
right?
Because Walmart, even if they don't put in all of their stores, they still have thousands of stores out there,
right?
And like they're gonna buy like a case at a minimum of one case per store. Mm-hmm. You just sold thousands of products with one sale. Mm-hmm. Like that's all that it takes. And so they got, if you get this bulk order of 500 hats for the ministry, yeah,
right.
I don't know how long it takes them to make 500 hats, but
they'll do it.
Yeah.
Do you ever watch Shark Tank?
I have seen it a few times. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like one thing that like people like to brag about, like inventors that have a specific product that one good selling point when you're trying to get investment is that it's already on the market. It's available in stores, and
Makes
people
sense.
always brag about, it's in Walgreens or it's in Barnes and Noble stores or Whole Foods or whatever the case is. But like the one thing that is always the most impressive to the sharks when they hear about it, do you know what retail chain it would be?
Honestly, no.
Costco.
Really?
If you get in Costco, you're set for life.
I would not have guessed that at all.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Especially when it comes to wine. If you can get your wine to be sold in Costco, you're done. Like you set your retirement, you're good.
Is it just because they buy in such quantity, or
that and people in Costco go to spend money?
Okay.
If you go to Walmart, like you may spend like a couple dollars, or you may spend,
but you're
20.
looking to save money,
right?
I mean, which you kind of do at Costco, but I mean, like I always figure with Costco, you're already paying a membership fee to get into the store.
Yeah, and you go there knowing you're going to walk out with things.
Yeah,
a lot of things.
I mean, you buy a lot of things to make the membership worth it.
Right.
It's the whole idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, to a somewhat lesser extent, but that's what happens with Amazon Prime too. Mm-hmm. You're paying that membership fee, so you're going to go shop at Amazon because you're a member.
Yeah.
It's not a physical store, but it's often you're going to be your number one stop.
Mm-hmm. Also, like, as gross it is to think about, like, having to pay a membership to go shopping at somewhere is automatically you're selling to a different social income, than you would at, like, a Walmart or something, Like, they're looking at it as, if people can afford a Costco membership, then they probably have the disposable income to spend at Costco. That's a very general blanket statement.
Yes. But I do know people on the lower end that like they have a Costco membership,
right?
And one of their biggest reasons to have it is because they have kids and they can buy diapers in huge bulk quantities.
Right. Absolutely. So it's not a for certain type of scenario, but generally speaking, there's $100 admission fee to walk into a Costco and a $0 admission fee to walk into a Walmart.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, everything that, Shark Tank has ever taught me is if you get your products in Costco, you're good.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what the Wizard equivalent is of Costco. But it feels like
the ministry,
twins,
apparently.
Yeah, the twins are on their way to success here. I think.
Is there like a ministry gift shop or something?
Probably. You'd think so, right?
Maybe.
House elves
Should
run
be.
it. The twins also have an employee, as you mentioned before.
Yep.
She calls them Mr. and Mr. Weasley.
Mr. Weasley and Mr. Weasley, yes. Which
sounds so weird.
I'm with Harry. It's weird to hear because we've always had one Mr. Weasley.
Right.
Sure, you could refer to any of the boys in the family, Bill, Charlie, any of them, as Mr. Weasley, and you'd be correct. But we don't. Mr. and Mrs. Weasley are the parents.
If you'd never read this before, if you were to guess as to which of the Weasley sons you would suspect would require to be named Mr. Weasley, it has to be the twins, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Percy would because he's stuck up, whatever, but like in the most jokingly way, of course it's the twins who want to be called Mr. Weasley.
Sure.
It cracks me up. I love these guys. They told Harry take whatever they want, whatever he wants, free of charge, and it's like, well, I mean, he is the investor in this whole thing, so
yeah, he's already paid 1,000 galleons, so I think you can take a few products.
Yeah. Ron's not so lucky.
Nope.
Which got me thinking.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just give it to Harry and let Harry walk out with it? You know.
Well, did he actually hear them offer Harry, offer to take anything?
Oh no, because Ron just came up after.
Yeah, I think he came up afterwards, and
so why didn't Harry say, "Hey, I got this"? You know, it's 100% just the twins messing with Ron. I understand that, but it just cracks me up that there's an easy way to solve this, and
there would be, but yeah. I that's just their dynamic. It's so good that way.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We learned about love potions.
Yep.
I wonder why, Matt.
Who knows? Ginny seems to be doing fairly well without him.
Yeah, but has she found the one yet?
I don't know.
You know, according to her brothers, she has 5 boyfriends at any given time. So, you know, she's just going through them like Ron goes through dress robes, you know?
Sure.
Then we found out about the most amazing thing that I possibly have ever heard of. And with no context whatsoever, I am already in love with it.
I figured you would be.
How has nobody told me about the existence of pygmy puffs, Matt?
Because they're very good at keeping secrets.
What is a pygmy puff and why don't I have one right now?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I'm guessing, I know they exist, but I'm guessing you probably saw some when you're at the Wizarding World.
Maybe.
But yeah, you had no idea what they were, so it didn't mean a whole lot, but yeah.
I love the name. I love what my head is picturing.
Yeah.
I love it all, Matt.
I figured you would.
I'm so excited to learn more about Pygmy Puff. And, you know, there's a chance we were never going to hear about Pygmy Puffs again after this chapter.
Yeah.
Until the next chapter happened, and we have a Pygmy Puff. There's a Pygmy Puff that has a name.
Yep. Has joined the group.
I just... I don't know why I'm excited about a Pygmy Puff having a name, but, the Niffler in Fantastic Beasts of Where to Find Them was a pretty important critter, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that Niffler had a name.
Not that was really... Yeah.
We had Frank the Thunderbird.
Yep.
The little invisible sloth dude, he had a name. I can't remember.
Yep.
The Bowtruckle had a name.
Yep. Pickett.
But, it feels like the Niffler should have had a name, and I don't recall that Niffler having a name.
I can't say that I've ever realized that before, but I cannot come up with a name.
Yeah. It was just a Niffler. Let's call him a Niffler. Anyway, my point is, we already have a Pygmy Puff with a name. And I'm in love with it. Plain and simple. So, move over, Giant Squid. Got competition. Mainly because I feel like we may get more story involving the Pygmy Puff than we will a Giant Squid. But we'll see.
It's hard to say.
We'll see. The one overall thing, my biggest takeaway from visiting friend George's joke shop, other than it was awesome and fantastic and lovely and adorable and everything else, I really need to study up on my Wizarding World denominations, like the money currency, you know?
Yeah.
I just can't figure out how it all works. And I know way back in the early day of the show, you tried to give me like a cheat sheet on the equivalent of what everything equals to each other.
Mm-hmm.
I need to study up on that because I want to be fluent in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's super convoluted though. Like it doesn't make sense.
That's why I want to learn it. I want to figure out the madness that is it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, as long as you remember like which order they come in, you should be fine.
Right.
Like, I mean, if you see them, it's nice that you use the gold, silver, bronze method. And so you have your gold galleons, your silver sickles, and bronze knuts. Like, we had the whole debate about how to pronounce that even.
Right.
But, yeah, it's something like 29 nuts to a sickle or 9. I don't even remember right now, but yeah, it's messed up.
But I also need the conversion rate to Muggle money, you know?
Yeah.
I want to be fluent in that stuff.
And unfortunately, that's never nailed down precisely, really.
Give me time, Matt. Give me time.
Okay.
Once I figure out what that dragon's doing on that bake, Matt, it's all going to become clear.
Okay.
I have no idea if that's true or not, but... all right. So, before we finish this chapter, though, we have to do some sneaking around with the trio, of course.
Yep. Haven't quite got to the chapter title yet, so...
Yeah. Draco's up to something the trio wants to figure out. Mainly Harry wants to figure out.
Yeah. He kind of drags them along because they're supposed to stick together. But if he could, he'd wander off on his own.
Sure. Yeah. But they all three try to fit under this invisibility cloak, which seems to get bigger by the year because I'm having a hard time with this.
Yeah, I mean, they talk about, hunching over, and they do make mention of, like, their ankles will show and stuff like that.
Right.
And so I think they do know that it's getting harder.
I just feel like we were in the same position 5 years ago when they were short little things, you know?
Well, no, I always felt it. Well, I think we did reach a point eventually where they said, yeah, all three of them couldn't, but two could fairly comfortably yet.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And Ron and Harry keep growing.
Yeah. They did just make a point of that. They needed new robes and all that. So yeah, it's rough, but what are you going to do?
If the first time we were introduced to it, if it had been described as like this giant comforter, that was just like dragging all over the floor as they were underneath it to give them room to grow, I'd be fine with it right now. But it just, look, whatever. I had completely forgot about Nocturne Alley.
Yep.
I didn't remember that was a thing until this chapter.
It's been a while since we've been there,
Yeah.
And when Harry accidentally ended up there, I mean, that's like the last time we were there, probably. Was that the only time we were there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's always, It's the Forbidden Forest of Diagon Alley.
Yeah, except we go to the Forbidden Forest every book.
Yeah, but we honestly we haven't been to Diagon Alley in every book. There have been a couple of books where like Mrs. Weasley goes and picks up everything for them.
That's true. Anyway, this little seedy part of the Diagon Alley is gross little hole in the wall.
Yeah, the side street. It's dark alley, basically.
Yeah. Where all the sketchy people hang out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like Slytherin. They follow Draco into the store that Harry accidentally flew into.
Yep.
And it seemed like Draco was like trying to like get the shop owner to fix something.
Yep.
Something important, and was threatening to come back and make sure he was putting his full attention on getting this thing fixed. Mysterious object. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I can safely say that probably at least half of the emails tonight are going to be asking me, what do you think Draco was having fixed in that little shop that they don't know about? Look, guys, I have no clue. I have no freaking clue what Draco is up to. I have nothing to work with on it. Not a clue. If I could guess anything right now, it'd be some sort of port key. And that's only because they made it sound like it was an object that would have been easily passed up and passed over by Mr. Weasley and his crew when they're cleaning out the house of any dangerous objects.
Okay.
Port key seems to be non-suspicious in every way, shape, or form, unless you know what it is.
Sure.
You've made mention before that port keys can only be used once, but what if there was a way to make it be used again? Is there a way? Is somebody capable of doing that? Would that be the repair necessary type of thing? So, that's my guess.
So there's a Willy Wonka out there somewhere creating everlasting port keys.
Possibly. His name's probably Slughorn. I'm kidding, Matt. It's a Willy Wonka joke.
It's true.
Yeah. So that's my guess. We'll just eliminate that whole thing from every email that's coming tonight. On that, I have no idea. We'll see.
All right.
This is going to be a Draco heavy book, I feel.
He's been mentioned a few times already, yeah.
Too many for my liking, and we haven't even got to the next chapter. So he's up to something. We know he's up to something. Everybody knows he's up to something. What is that little worm up to? I don't know. But we'll definitely find out.
All right.
That's all I have to say about that.
Fair enough.
Chapter 7. Oh, no. Time out.
Yeah.
For the second time today, we forgot about the Muggle poll. Let's check in with the Muggle poll. Matt puts it up approximately 4 p.m. Pacific time every day that we record on our Twitter feed at Tales from GH. It always has something to do with the reading for the week. Lets you guys interact and let us know different opinions. Now that Twitter has expanded to 280 characters, be ready for full paragraph SAT quality questions from the professor himself.
I didn't think it was that bad, but hey.
I loved it, Matt. I enjoyed it. It threw me off by how wordy it was. And it wasn't until you reminded me that, the character expansion made that possible finally. It
did. I often ran into character number issues writing these things. Because I was wanting to explain my thought process, where I was coming from. So, Fred and George have run into temporary supply chain issues. They have now limited their sales to 1 item per person. Which item will you choose?
You have 3 wrong answers and 1 correct answer up there.
I figured after your reaction.
What are the
So my
options for
choices
that?
I gave you were the instant darkness powder, decoy detonator, daydream charm, or the pygmy puff.
Mm-hmm. Daydream charm sounds fascinating, right?
Yeah.
But come on, pygmy puff. Come on, how do you pass that up?
Just like me and 55% of the audience did.
What? Total.
Yeah.
I had to refresh
Just
my
saying.
browser. I'm like, what happened
Just
to the
saying.
poll?
No, yeah. You guys won the majority with a majority single answer.
Yeah.
With 45% for pygmy puff. We got 24 for the darkness powder, 20% for the daydream, and 11% for the decoy.
Yeah.
Personally, I would have gone with the darkness powder.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I just think it has, whether you're using it, trying to use it seriously or as a joke or whatever, like it has so many uses. And I think this has been reiterated a few times. I'm not a pet person, so.
I get it, Matt. I get it. But pygmy puff is the right answer. So
There you go.
thank you to everybody that responded to that and had fun with it. And we'll do it again next week, huh? If you don't see it up, feel free to tweet at Matt. Let him know. Hey,
Yeah.
Matt, something's missing.
Thank you to, was it Taryn this week?
It was Taryn, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on to chapter 7 now, shall we?
We can do that.
Okay.
Chapter 7, The Slug Club. Yes. Wonderful title. Bunch of new characters mentioned, as I'm sure you noticed.
Oh, God. Nauseating amount of new characters.
We got Arnold,
The best new character.
Ramil Devane, Cormac McLagan, Marcus Belby, Uncle Damocles, Uncle Tiberius, and Bertie Higgs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a bunch of other names that you probably didn't remember, but have been mentioned already.
Like Zabini?
Blaze Zabini, yeah.
That's not a new character, huh?
No. Blaze, I think, has been around. I think he's been around since book 1, actually. He's been mentioned a few times. I think he might have been originally mentioned in Harry's Sorting. Was probably the first time because he had the Z name, and we made it all the way A through Z. But he's been one of those what has felt like a throwaway Slytherin character.
Yeah,
that just gets mentioned here and there when there's a group of Slytherins.
Right. Yeah.
And but he has been mentioned a few times.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's not a new character. It's the first. It may be the first time I think that we've had much dialogue from him.
Okay.
Like this, definitely the first like full conversation we've heard from him.
Sure.
But yeah, not at all the first time he's been mentioned.
Yeah. All right. This chapter did not quite hold my attention the way the last one did.
Sure.
I struggled with this one a lot.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more, I guess, exploration and freedom. And as you mentioned, as we were exploring it, like it just, there's so much in it.
Yeah.
We went from the Burrow to Diagon Alley to Fred and George's shop and just hit all these different places and all these different people and
highs and lows. And...
Yep. Kind of ran the gamut.
Mm-hmm. Then we got to this one. And it was just, whew, Snorefest, folks. If any one of your emails say that this chapter is your favorite chapter of the book or the series or anything like that, just remove yourself from listening to this podcast because there's no way anybody really loved this chapter.
I don't think we got any
favorite
chapter mentions.
Okay, good.
So.
I'll give you guys passes for the other ones, but this one was just Oh, dreadful. It's not that it was written bad. It just, most of it took place on a train, and it was just very dialogue heavy and not that interesting of dialogue and storytelling. I don't know.
Well, once again, isn't that the feeling that Harry was getting from this?
Yeah.
He wasn't all that interested.
Just kind of a waste of time for everybody. Is it a waste of time for Harry? Is it a waste of time for us, the readers?
Was it, though?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
You don't know.
I don't.
You don't know.
No. I continue to say that summer vacation goes way too fast in the Wizarding World. Like, somehow we were only like a week left of holiday. I'm like, wait a second. Like, hold on. It just started, you know?
Yeah.
Feels like it, at least. A lot of downtime at the Burrow this year.
Well, you know how fast we can go from Halloween to Christmas in these books, so.
I know. Arnold, the new character.
Yes.
That's the name of Ginny's purple pygmy puff? Right?
Sounds right.
Did I make that up?
Is either purple or pink? I always forget.
Okay. Purple's standing out in my head, but...
Sure.
I think it's a wonderful name for a pygmy puff, if you ask me.
Do you?
Arnold the pygmy puff. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I like it. I like it a lot.
To be perfectly honest, like, other than... Oh, no, now that I think about it, I can think of a few more. Like, other than, like, Hey Arnold, and Arnold Palmer, like, you just don't hear Arnold a lot. And to be perfectly honest, then, like, when I hear the name Arnold, I often do connect it with Harry Potter.
Okay.
Because it's one of the more memorable Arnolds in my culture, things I pay attention to.
It feels like it's a generational name that, you know, from
definitely
days gone past.
It feels like it should be my grandpa's name.
Yeah. Good old Arnie, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I like it. It's weird and unusual, and it fits with Ginny's personality.
Exactly what I was going to say. Like, it feels like Ginny.
Yeah.
It was a name she'd pick. Yeah.
Right. And I think I also like it because it doesn't feel like a magical name in any sense. You know, like Hedwig and Pigwidgeon and Crookshanks.
Very much feels like a Muggle name.
Yeah. It's like, no, that's Arnold.
I mean, it's not Blaze the Beanie. Like, Blaze the Beanie sounds like a Muggle magician name.
Right.
Probably because it sounds like Houdini, now that I think about it.
What's Neville's toad's name?
Trevor.
See, another one. Yeah. Where it's just like, cool. I like it.
As opposed to, it's not Scabbers.
Right. Yeah. Kids are weird, man. No one continues to be shocked by Harry Potter being forever curious about everything.
Yeah.
When he was telling Mr. Weasley, it's like, of course you were curious. Of course you wanted to follow him just because you wanted to know, you know?
And I love this section with Mr. Weasley because he's always kind of been written as this crazy character, this crazy Muggle-loving character who lets his kids get away with stuff, and you kind of wonder how good of a parent he actually is, because Mrs. Weasley always has to step in and, you know, be the bad cop.
Right.
And like, here we get that sense. It's like, okay, I actually know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I am a parent. I'm not oblivious to what's going on. I'm excitable, sure, but I don't.
He seems competent.
Yes, he's competent. There you go. That's a good way.
Which he's never fully described as being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he's like, I know what's going on with people. I know what you're up to. I raised Fred and George.
Yeah,
and as wild and crazy as they are, I know what they're doing. I knew what they were doing when they were growing up, and
they turned out pretty okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like this little moment with Mr. Weasley for that same reason. It grounded him a little bit. It made him a parental figure instead of just an adult figure.
Yeah.
Which is important,
Mm-hmm.
Man, there's a whole lot in this chapter that I just don't want to talk about. They start tossing around the possibility of Draco being a Death Eater, and
Yep.
I don't know what age requirements there are for being a Death Eater, if anything.
Well, okay. I don't necessarily like the way it's described, because when you think about this, Death Eater is just a name that has been given, or a name that was adopted by Voldemort's followers.
Right.
So essentially, you just have to be a follower of Voldemort, and you are a Death Eater.
Sure.
I mean,
you do have to get
sure,
the Dark Mark, though, right?
well, now officially, I guess. But back in, I mean, that was something that Voldemort came up with to be able to call them.
Right.
Because that's what Hermione did with the DA coins. That's where she got the idea from. It wasn't like that. Like I don't think he had one follower and he tagged them with that mark, and then he got another one and he tagged them. Like, I think he probably had a good following, and it's like, okay, we need a system.
We need to organize here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he probably marked, 20, 30, 50. I don't know how many followers he had at the time, but he marked that first group of them. Mm-hmm. And then anyone since then, when they come in, they probably get marked.
Yeah.
But I would consider anyone who claims to be a follower of Voldemort.
Sure.
I would consider them a Death Eater whether they have the mark or not.
Right.
Now, if they don't have the mark, it's going to be a lot easier to, get away from law enforcement and say, no, I wasn't. But
sure. Yeah.
If Voldemort gets word that, you are claiming that, I mean, I think he's going to mark you.
I also feel like there's just like an extra level of commitment, though, that needs to happen with that. Like, you're a follower of Tom, and, like, you're cool with what he does, and you're down with, the world burning. But, like, when push comes to shove, like, is your loyalty really there with him? Like, that's a connection that not everybody that would claim to be a follower would have with him. When it came down to it. Yeah. That's a different level of commitment than just saying, I'm on that side.
But we saw that when he was apparently defeated, too.
Yeah. With
how many people tried to deny it and disappear.
Right.
Because he wasn't there to back them.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Like, Draco a Death Eater, I mean, on paper, yeah, probably. But what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? Who knows? He's a dumb kid. They're all dumb kids.
But at the same time, from everything we've heard, like, they keep talking about this job.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And so it would seem that Voldemort already has word of Draco.
Yes.
And, like, what Draco wants to do and the commitment he wants to show.
Right. He's on his radar, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. Get on the train. Woo. Woo.
Got to get back to Hogwarts somehow.
Yeah, sure. Let's go for it. Neville and Luna are back in the picture. Fantastic.
Yeah, after Harry is shot down by Ginny.
Yeah. That's weird. Mm-hmm. We'll see where that goes. Neville was talking about his new wand that he got, which he happened to get a day before Ollivander went missing, and I'm thinking, there's some blatant foreshadowing if I've ever seen it.
The last wand he ever sold? What?
Yeah. What kind of connection is that? I don't remember exactly what kind of wand it was, and even if I did remember that. I don't know if I'd be able to make any connection to anything else because my memory sucks. But I don't know. I noticed that little brief mention of what happened there and thought, okay, that'll come back.
Yeah.
We'll see.
For the record, his wand was cherry with unicorn hair.
Okay. That means nothing to me at this point.
Okay.
But thank you.
Yep.
Luna's back. Of course, she's seen more imaginary creatures, as always.
Raxperts.
Yeah, sure. Luna, you're a character.
Nargles and Raxperts, I'm telling you.
Yeah. She has some really cool glasses.
Yep.
Which are described, and like as they were being described, I had to stop myself from thinking, why are we getting this description of these glasses again? But she didn't have them in the last book. These are new.
Yes. These are the first time you're reading about them.
Right. But I've seen them on her figures, so I know that these are a thing.
Yes. And I, to be perfectly honest, I wrestled with this because I knew they were on. I believe it was not only on the standard Funko figure, the first Luna Funko Pop figure they came out with, but then definitely on the Funko Rock Candy version of her as well. And I struggled the first time because I'm like, well, it's, I mean, kind of spoiler, but it's one of those like he'll see them, but he won't know what they are.
Yeah.
And if he asks about them, I'm just not going to answer any questions.
Sure.
So like, but I didn't want to hold off giving away that prize since it was new at the time.
Right.
When we gave it away, like, I didn't want to hold it off until now.
Yeah.
Just for the glasses.
And honestly, like I saw them, I'm like, that's cool. I don't know what those, the significance of them are, but she's wearing a lot of other weird stuff.
I was gonna say it just feels like Luna.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I still don't know how important or special the glasses may or may not be, but I know they're part of her attire, and sure, whatever. There's still plenty more to learn about these glasses, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So the fact that I knew that she was already wearing them, it didn't change anything. I just had to stop myself from trying to figure out why they were going into such a description now about them.
Yeah. They already
I know,
felt
JK.
kind of familiar. Like, I've seen those before. What are you talking about?
Why are you making such a big deal that Hagrid's a half-giant? We already knew that. One of those things, Matt.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Did you catch Luna's quote? Possibly the most depressing quote ever.
Oh, about how it makes her feel like she has friends?
Yeah, the DA. It was like having friends.
Yeah. Luna. Just...
But, I mean, the way she says it, like, you want to feel so sad and sorry for her, but she doesn't seem to care so much.
No, not at all.
Like,
But at the same time, like, I also wanted to, like, just shake her and say, they are your friends. Like,
regardless of the DA.
Yeah.
Whether it exists or not, yeah.
Harry offered to help you find your lost items at the end of the school year. Like, that's something only a friend would do.
Yeah, and now you
seem
to be hanging out with Neville. Like, Harry found you hanging out with Neville.
Yeah.
And you're not in the same class even.
Right.
You're in a different year. Like, you have friends.
Once you almost die with somebody, it's pretty safe to assume that you could probably call them a friend after that experience. You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what her deal... Like, Luna's just... She's special.
She is.
I don't know how else to describe her. She says what she thinks, though, and I appreciate that. She's a straight shooter. So the big thing about this chapter is the new professor, Slughorn, gathers a group of kids from throughout the train to kind of have a summit meeting. I don't know how to describe. Like, it's so weird. Like, it's like there's food, and everybody's like getting to know each other. Like, they're doing like these weird like interviews, and I I don't know what the overall purpose of it was, other than for Slughorn to have a full-on conversation with Harry Potter. Like, that seemed the focus of what everything was built around.
You think so?
Maybe? I don't know. I don't know if I can trust this guy. I don't know what his MO is. I don't know.
What did we learn about Slughorn in the first chapter that we met
He's
him?
a collector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was he collecting?
Kids.
Okay. That sounds really creepy, but
Talent.
Yeah. Well, like he wanted connections.
Connections, right.
And he got these connections by getting to know these kids and giving them that leg up.
Yeah.
To help their career, make them who they are.
Right.
And just stay in contact with them. And so what's his first move when he comes back here? He finds the kids that have those connections.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not intrigued or riveted by him at all.
Yeah.
There's something missing from his character that just is preventing me from being curious. Like, when we met Dumbridge, I was like, okay, where's this going? You know, when we met all the other new teachers, it's like they all had something that was intriguing. And while he's a collector, because he's so kind of shady about everything and vague about certain things, I don't know how I feel about him overall, and that makes me hesitant to put my emotions in any basket.
Okay. He is a big question mark right now. Like, we know he's a Slytherin, but he's also actively avoiding Death Eaters.
Right.
So, yeah, where does that boy hit?
And he's a new teacher, so what's that going to mean? Mm-hmm. Also, I may have thought about this a little bit too much during this chapter, so I may have missed some things.
Okay.
So I'm just going to admit that straight up. But I was racking my brain about something, Matt.
Okay.
And I can't figure out without going back and like rereading a whole bunch of chapters, which I'm not going to do. Everybody knows I'm not going to do that. Slughorn is a new professor at Hogwarts, right?
Yes.
Dumbledore wanted him to come in and be the new professor.
Yes.
To fill in that missing role that was vacated by Dumbridge on the teaching committee.
Yes.
Have we actually been told explicitly that he's going to be the defense against the dark arts teacher?
That's a good question.
Because I was thinking about this, and last week I was super bummed about being so wrong about my prediction with good old Snape, right?
Mm-hmm.
But listening to him talk and listening, like, this whole chapter, not the whole chapter, but the whole time we spent with him, you know, he was referred to as the new professor, right?
Okay.
But I don't think, and I could be so wrong about this, but I don't think, like, he was ever introduced as the new defense against the dark arts teacher. I think he was just referred to as, like, the new professor at Hogwarts. Which is interesting, because that opens up the possibility of him teaching something else. Like, maybe we're just led to assume that he's going to be that teacher.
So what would he teach then?
I don't know, Matt. There's classes all over Hogwarts I don't even know exist. Maybe it's going to be a new 6th-year class that we didn't know happened. What I'm saying is...
That would be weird to introduce something in their new level year.
Matt, I don't put it past them.
Because for all their other classes, they need to pass...
We just found out about astrology last year.
False, but okay.
I don't know what else he could teach, Matt. I don't know what he does. I don't know what he's good at. I don't know what his MO is. I don't know what he has done in the past. You know, like, everything is super vague about him. All we know is that Dumbledore really wanted him to come to Hogwarts. But it was never, that I remember, said Dumbledore wants him to come because he's good against defending against the dark arts. It was Dumbledore wanted him to come teach. Teach what? I don't know. All I'm saying is I feel like there's a possibility that there was a swerve that happened without me even noticing, and there's still a very minute chance that our dear friend Snape could still teach this class.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking about during this whole train thing.
Yeah.
And obviously I came up with nothing.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
So what else happened on this train? Why is this as a Beanie character worth mentioning?
Well, okay. My first question about the train that I kind of thought of this time through more than any other, I guess, is why do we only sometimes, like, generally speaking, who's on the train?
The students.
The students.
Mm-hmm.
And
the lady pushing the snack cart.
Yeah, the snack cart, right?
Yeah. And whatever new teacher is coming in.
But not always. I think we go...
Lupin.
Yeah, Lupin was the first one.
That's just because
Quirrell was already at school. Lockhart was not on the train.
Yeah.
Lupin was, because, we needed him for the story.
Well, we don't know if Lockhart was or not. No, we would have known.
You would have known. Yeah. He would have known Mr. Harry Potter.
He was probably driving the train, let's be real. Or he was just telling everybody that he was driving the train.
This isn't Wild Wild West.
Okay.
So, Moody, not on the train.
Right.
Year 5, Umbridge was not on the train.
Right.
And now we're back to Slughorn is on the train.
Yeah.
Like, because Lupin was the only one that I could really see a strong argument for why you wanted to put him on the train.
Yeah.
Or why the professors or why Dumbledore would even say, you should probably be on the train.
Sure. Lupin, I feel like, needed a ride.
Exactly. that was kind of his shabby character.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of fit.
He's kind of a railroad boxcar traveler type of...
Yeah, he was the bum that, waiting at the bus stop. And...
Hobo.
Sorry.
Transient. I mean, he had like a polka dot red and white bag slung over a stick on his shoulder, so...
Anyway, it gets to Slughorn.
Yeah.
And there's no reason he couldn't have this meeting at Hogwarts. I feel like he probably had to have a special train car added just so he could live this luxury.
Yeah, and I feel like that way too.
It just...
I feel like it's intentional though on him. Like it gave him the opportunity to kind of start meddling in things without having to go through like the Hogwarts hoops to talk.
You think Dumbledore would have stopped him though?
I don't think Dumbledore cares at this point. I don't know. Like, he was probably like, hey, can I ride the train? Dumbledore was like, sure, whatever. Whatever.
Dumbledore knows who he is, though. That's why he brought Harry.
Yeah.
Like, he knows what's going to happen.
I mean, I think Dumbledore trusts him. Like, I don't think whatever he's doing is completely malicious in any way. Or Dumbledore definitely wouldn't let him ride the train.
Sure.
Who knows, man? He's an eccentric, very unusual character, and I don't know how to feel about him overall, and I just don't know where I stand.
All right.
But him riding the train is definitely far different experience than Lupin riding the train.
Mm-hmm.
Who had like his sleeping bag and like his coat tucked up underneath his head as he's trying to sleep. And
yeah.
Oh, Lupin. Lupin, I miss you, Lupin. Come back, Lupin. I don't know, Matt. It's a whole bunch of stuff I didn't care about, to be honest.
Yeah.
Talked about more about, whatever job Malfoy has been tasked with. Who knows? The main part about it was the end, right?
Yeah.
The fight scene.
If you can even call it a fight.
Well, I mean, fights can be one-sided.
Yeah.
Draco knows about the invisibility cloak now. Did he know about it before?
Well,
or just suspect?
He back in that would have been third year.
Oh,
their first trip to the town, and Harry tripped over a rock and saw his head floating there.
Right. But this is full on evidence. He knows the gig is up now.
Well, I mean, because he ends up picking it up and throwing it back over him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Malfoy's just awful.
Yeah.
It's plain and simple. And I did not appreciate him just throwing the cloak over Harry, bloodied up Harry, and saying no one will even find you until you get there to Hogwarts.
Back to London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to London.
Yeah, he told them no one would find him until the train got back to London.
Oh, assuming that he wouldn't even be able to get off the train.
Yeah, he's paralyzed.
Right. Okay.
Or petrified.
Yeah. Malfoy's awful. Awful. Have they had an interaction on the train every single year? Well, not the second year, because there was no train.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's one thing I've commented on before, I know, is that Draco always seems to seek him out. Draco always ends up at their compartment.
Right.
This might be the first time that Harry has gone out and into their compartment. We get this compartment full of Slytherin.
Yeah.
That's literally entering this pit of snakes.
Right. Harry just needs to stop being curious about everything.
Yeah, that would solve a lot of problems.
It really would,
But that's honestly, that is one of the biggest reasons I think he's in Gryffindor. I didn't mention it before, but at the end of the first chapter, Hermione not explaining her plan, just rushing in and doing her thing, that was possibly the most Gryffindor thing I have seen from Hermione.
Yeah.
It's that bold, brash, just,
sure,
I have a plan, I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm in Gryffindor.
Right.
I don't always think it through, but bravery is one of their big things, right?
Sure, yeah.
And I don't think braveness or bravery is always logical.
Yeah. You Ravenclaws sit back and calculate the statistical probability of the outcomes, and us Hufflepuff were just whatever, you guys go do that. Just sit back and not do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That chapter was disappointing, to be honest with you.
All right. Well, at least we had one good chapter, right?
Oh, definitely. And we got Arnold, so...
Yes.
Yeah.
There. He was in this chapter.
Yes. Good old Arnold. Is Arnold going to be the one to reveal the real Crookshanks? One can only hope.
We do get a lot from the pets.
Yeah. I need more. I need more. Let's do some emails, shall we, Matt?
We can do that.
Okay.
All right. Our first email this week comes from Ovander.
Ovander. Hello, Ovander.
Water, Matt and the Muggle. What an interesting phrase Tonks uses when greeting Harry. I'll spare you the in-depth details of the etymology. You can Google, but from my understanding, it is an old UK slang term for hello, specifically a contraction of what cheer. I know I've looked that one up too, because it's such a weird word.
Okay.
But yeah, it's one of those greetings we only hear from Tonks, and I'm guessing it's just her, dialect, accent, whatever. Anyways, I caught up. Wait, what do I do now? I guess I wait with bated breath for the next episode, like so many others.
Sorry, it's not a fun thing to get to this point.
Says I will get to reacting to the chapter content in future emails, but for now, this week, I'll just roll some random thoughts I have. I'll be reading along with you finally. Specifically, I will be having Jim Dale read to me for the first time. I know Josh has mentioned that he'll be giving the audiobooks a try for the second read-through, and I say that's a swell plan. Well, not every voice or pronunciation he does is perfect. I have been very impressed nonetheless. A person can only alter the timbre of the voice in so many ways after all. I've told you that I belong to the House of Gryffindor, so I suppose now I'll tell you my wand of Patronus. My wand is 12.5 inches long, made of maple, and has a phoenix feather core. It has a quite bendy flexibility. Maple wands tend to choose people who are by nature travelers or explorers. They prefer ambition in their witch or wizard, and have long been a mark of status because of their reputation as a wand of high achievers. Phoenix feather cores are among the rarest and tend to be the pickiest wands, as well as more difficult to earn the allegiance of. I think I love my wand. My Patronus is a black mare.
Ooh.
And I can dig that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a strong animal.
Definitely, yeah. Have we ever done a poll about Hogwarts houses that the community belongs to? It says either I'm forgetting that we've done this or we haven't officially taken a tally. Do you remember offhand?
I don't think so. I don't think... No.
I wanted to say maybe we did, but it would have been really early on.
Yeah, before we had a solid core audience.
That feels like something I would have asked during like a movie week.
Mm-hmm.
When we don't have, book content to relate it to.
Yeah.
But now I'm tempted to either use it for this upcoming movie, but then at the same time I think, well, maybe I should just wait till we finish book 7 and see what happens. But
sure.
We'll see if I come up with anything for movie 6, or if for some reason I really can't come up with a question some week, I'll throw it in there. But
right.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to see again where we stand now.
Yeah.
Because definitely haven't done it recently.
I mean, I could tell you my unofficial count that was done the last time I visited the Wizarding World of Harry Potter last November. People will be very happy to know that of all the people dressed in any sort of Harry Potter attire, that's including robes and house colors, that were at the Wizarding World on the day that I was there with Val, I still stand by the fact that there wasn't a single Ravenclaw anywhere to be found. Nobody.
Selective sight.
It's very possible. But a lot of Gryffindor. A lot of Hufflepuff. And way too many Slytherin for my liking.
Sure.
But Ravenclaw seems to be the more recluse house, if you will.
I think they just blend in a little more.
That's possible. Anyway, I'd like to get an official poll. That would be fun to see.
Yeah. We'll get there at some point.
Yeah.
Let's see. Because saying his full name was brought up last week, I got quite a laugh out of it. I'd enjoy it if Matt said in his dreamiest voice while batting his eyelashes, Gilderoy Lockhart.
No.
I.
Why is his name being said so many times on this podcast tonight?
He also says, "Say it as many times as you'd like to tilt Josh off the face of the earth."
He wasn't even in this book. He's never going to be back. Ever.
Why? How do you know? He made a nice appearance last time.
Yeah, just remind us that he's crazy, and that's it.
All right. Gilderoy Lockhart. I'll work on it. Maybe our next video episode I can pull something off.
No,
we'll see.
We could just stop saying his name altogether and be good.
And lastly, because I can't only pick on the Muggle, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, I have to say 3 words to Matt. Dez caught it.
Did he, though?
It says, come on now. He took 3 steps after grabbing that ball, which is definitely a football move. Once again, I apologize to all our international listeners who are not fans of sports ball. But, no. He did not catch it. No.
I mean, if that's the case, then Seattle definitely intercepted that Hail Mary.
Which did not happen.
Wait, were they intercepting or were they receiving? Who was on defense during that play? You know what I'm talking about?
The one with the refs?
Yeah, the one that brought back the regular refs.
Yeah. We were trying to score.
Okay, so Seattle was on defense.
Yeah.
Okay. They totally intercepted it.
No.
Why are the Packers always involved in such weird plays?
I don't know. Because we have an awesome quarterback.
It stresses you out. Here's the thing, Matt. Like, it doesn't matter where you guys are on the field. I feel like there's always a chance that there's going to be a long touchdown pass.
And that's why I love our team.
Yeah.
Don't count us out. Nothing's been won yet.
Is he coming back this year? Do you think?
Regular season? I don't think so.
Like, theoretically could be ready for the playoffs, possibly.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yep. That's what that's what they're prepping for.
All right. Okay, enough football. Sorry, focus.
All right. Next email from Maddie.
Hi, Maddie.
It says, good evening or morning. Anyway, hello. Was going to send an email last week, but forgot. But as someone from England, I wanted to send a quick message about some of the confusion about our terms.
Oh, boy.
Last week, the word fug came up.
Uh-huh.
You're wondering if this is a British thing? Honestly, in 23 years of living in England, I have never heard the word fug.
Okay.
Heard fog, smog, but not fug.
Okay.
However, you shocked me with the pay rise thing. I have heard Americans say pay raise, but had never really thought about it. In England, she says JK is from Scotland, and they do have their own weird twist on English, so I'm going to stick with my knowledge of English.
Wait, she's from Scotland?
That's what she says here.
You know, I really need to find that autobiography that Brent sent me of J.K. Rowling and read that thing.
Yeah, how have you not read that?
Because I misplaced it somewhere, Matt. It's somewhere in this house. I just don't know where. Sorry, Brent. I have it, I promise.
Well, Wiki has her listed as born in Yate, Gloucestershire, England.
As we all know, where you're born doesn't mean a thing.
Yeah. So I don't, without reading, the full article, which of course her wiki entry is forever long.
Yeah.
Okay, one of her maternal great-grandfathers was Scottish. But yeah, without reading this whole thing, I'd have to.
Okay, we'll just go with Maddie's word on this one here.
Yeah, I'll take your word on it right now. I have no reason to doubt it yet.
Sure.
So.
Okay.
But in England, they also say pay rise, as in a rise in pay. I don't think I've ever heard an English person say pay raise. So, yeah, I think a few other emails may address it as well, but the general consensus seems to be pay rise is, or well, I should say pay raise, I guess, is an American thing. I think pay rise is more common internationally.
None of this is surprising.
Yeah, this is not the first time this has happened. As she continues here, I also remember last book with the discussion on the floors at St. Mungo's, top of ground floor and first floor. In the U.S., they're the same. In the UK, the ground floor is the ground, and up a flight of stairs is the first floor. So what you would call the second floor, we call the first floor. You also get a mezzanine floor, which is between the two, which is not lost on us, thanks to our wonderful sports stadiums. Or if a building is on a hill and therefore has two floors that exit to the street level, you get an upper and lower ground floor, which is wrong.
Yep.
But yeah, the mezzanine I understand because like most often baseball stadiums I think have the mezzanine level.
Right.
But yeah. But she continues to compare this to Hogwarts now, which is an interesting thought, which I've never thought about if, JK uses that like numbering system.
Mm-hmm.
So this means walking from potions class, which is down in the dungeons, to the top dorm in Gryffindor Tower. It's a whopping 16 flights of stairs. The dungeons have 2 levels, so up to ground level where the Great Hall is and what we call the ground floor is 2 flights. Gryffindor Tower has its entrance on the 7th floor, so that's up 7 flights of stairs, and it takes 1 flight as it takes 1 flight to get to the first floor. The potions to common room is 9 flights of stairs, but then to get to get to the dorms is upstairs. So assuming each year has a floor, half girls, half boys, 7 years at Hogwarts, so 7 floors. It's a tower, so not much more room than 1 year per floor, which I think we've always kind of assumed. So the common room to the top of a dorm is another 7 flights. Therefore, potions to the top of the dorm is 16 flights.
Wow. It's a lot of walking.
Yeah. And she says, these aren't your standard 14-step flights. It's a castle with very high ceilings.
Sure.
I don't even want to work out how many steps there are.
Yeah. Alex is good at figuring out that kind of stuff. So I'm sure Alex will be fresh with an email next week about the number of stairs.
Yeah. She says, in perspective, Covent Garden tube station in London has no escalators because it's so far underground. They have lifts. There is a queue. You should always wait. Way to use all your British terms.
Yeah.
They have elevators, and there's a line.
Yeah. Thank you for dumbing that down for me, Matt.
For us Americans here.
Yeah.
You should always wait. It's 14 flights of stairs to the surface.
Goodness gracious.
There are warnings everywhere that you should definitely think twice about taking the stairs. I did it once. I had to stop 3 times to sit down and recharge. Maybe it's just best to fly on a broomstick up to bed.
Yep. Or apparate.
Not at Hogwarts.
Dang it. It's true. Anywhere else, though.
Yeah. Thank you for all those facts and figures, Matty.
Yep.
We appreciate the input from London.
Matt, I figure that we just need to go over to the UK one of these days and just really show their country how dumb America is.
I'm pretty sure they already know, but
yeah, that's true.
we can reiterate it for them.
Man. Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Next email comes from Kim.
Hi, Kim.
This is a different Kim from our normal Kim.
Oh, okay.
It says, I work nights at a grocery store making gourmet sandwiches. And I'm currently listening to your podcast, and I'm somewhere in the order of Phoenix. I'm listening along with the Jim Dale versions of the audiobooks. A lot of people do that.
Yeah, sure.
I work on my own in this department, and I greatly enjoy listening to Josh get more and more excited as he explores the Harry Potter world. I was on Facebook this morning and saw that Niantic, the creators of Pokemon Go, are releasing in 2018 a Wizarding World Harry Potter Go app. I'm so excited. I can't wait to continue listening to this podcast. I live with anxiety and depression, and these podcasts help me keep my attacks under control. So thank you. and she sent along a picture of her attire, which is a nice Harry Potter shirt.
Oh, okay.
And if I figure out where I put Skype, I will send that over to you.
We're prepared.
Yeah, we're good at this game.
Yeah. It's only the 72nd time we've done this podcast, so no big deal.
Yeah. All right.
No big deal.
So yeah, I'll send that picture over and figure out where our next email is.
Sure.
Did that send?
Nope.
Oh, I think it's coming. Yeah, I told you that Skype update was weird.
Yeah. Nope. Nothing.
You still got nothing?
Yep, nothing.
Do you have like a gallery button? It was weird. I don't know. I may just have to show these to you later.
Yeah, we'll just do it later. I trust that's a cool picture.
Do you see the little plus icon at the bottom of the screen?
Yeah.
Can you click on that?
Yeah.
Does that open a gallery?
No, it says share screen, add people, show dial pad. I didn't upgrade my Skype yet, so...
Hold on.
Matt doesn't even know he's
that was weird. Let me try it.
Sorry, folks.
The only reason I'm trying so hard is I have a lot of pictures for you this week.
Okay.
So I want to, if I can get this to work, I'm going to get it to work.
Sure.
Stand by.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
All right. Let's check out this shirt. Oh, very cool shirt. I like it.
Nice Gryffindor shirt there.
Yeah. Wonder if they have similar shirts for all the houses.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that shirt in particular, so I don't know where she got it from.
I like it. Very
all right.
good. Also, I have a weird craving for sandwiches now all of a sudden.
Gourmet sandwiches?
Yeah, absolutely. Alex knows what's up.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. All right. Next email comes from Edgar.
Hi, Edgar.
It says, Dear Josh and Professor, very few things happened this week. Probably what Josh thinks. Yeah. So, short email again. Karkaroff is dead? Who do you think killed him?
A Death Eater. A one of many Death Eaters. Bellatrix? Who knows?
You don't think Voldy did himself?
Nah. Okay. Why would he? He has no reason to. He has people that will literally go and do anything for him.
I suppose.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, what do you think of the name The Slug Club?
It's horrible.
Fair enough.
Sounding, I mean, yeah. Ugh.
And finally, any new theories on Malfoy? What he's up to? What's the task Tom asked him to do?
Nope, nothing.
All right. Still working on those.
Yeah, we'll wait and see.
All right. Next email comes from Jess.
Hi, Jess.
Says, hey guys, Slytherin sympathizer here. It's been many moons since I wrote in, but I've been caught up with the series and listening to each episode. Josh, I'm not surprised that you're skeptical of Slughorn, who, by the way, I picture as a short and squat Jamie Heineman of Mythbusters.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
But you've got to give him some credit. He's a Slytherin that we were introduced to who is actively avoiding being recruited by the Death Eaters and Voldemort. But, of course, it could all be a ruse. Could another Death Eater be infiltrating Hogwarts as a professor, a la Moody Crouch?
At this point in time, anything's possible. Yeah.
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 Switching gears a bit, I totally get where Mary was coming from last week when she described being a Potter snob. Like everyone that listens to this podcast, Harry Potter as a series is very special to me. I first read the series in junior high when I was 12. My parents were a few years divorced, but I had a new awful stepmother. After a long battle between my parents, my mother finally won, and I was able to switch from the private school that I hated, where I had no friends, and was bullied, largely then by my stepsister, to a public school. You see, the private school was also Catholic, so Harry Potter was banned. I remember so well walking around the small library of my new school, where I was hiding at lunch because I didn't know anyone, and seeing the spines of Harry Potter books looking out at me. The Forbidden Fruit. The books I had heard about, but always been denied because other people were always deciding what was best. Books 1 and 2 were already checked out, so I snatched up 3 and 4 and started there.
Okay. I mean, at least JK is really good at doing recaps, so...
From that moment on, I was hooked, although admittedly very confused at first. Thanks for the recap chapters, JK.
Yep.
Really. Yeah. See, there you go, Josh. This is why they're in there, because people, as much as I could never bring myself to do it, there are people, we've met a number of them now, who don't read the first book first.
I'm looking at you, Wrestler Joe.
Between traveling back and forth between my parents' houses, feeling like an outcast in a new school, and dealing with a terrible home life for part of the year when I had to visit Thing 1 and Thing 2 at my dad's house, Hogwarts was a constant place of comfort for me. Hogwarts was my home, and Harry was a character that I could relate to in so many ways. It was nice to feel not so alone. Now in my late 20s, Thing 1 and Thing 2 are long gone, and I've read the books countless times. And each time, I can relate more and more to other characters. But Harry will always be my favorite, because he made me feel like I had a friend during one of the worst times in my life. Anyway, this got unexpectedly long, so I will wrap things up with a Butterbeer Banter episode suggestion, which I've gotten from a number of people, which we will do eventually, but we can't. I'm not going to do now. Josh, have you heard of a Harry Potter musical?
No.
Okay. It's a thing.
Okay.
We'll get to it eventually.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we may have determined we probably could do it at this point, if I remember right. It's been a long time, but I think it's something we're gonna wait till probably we're done with the series.
Dang it. Okay.
I mean, I can look at it again and see if you're really itching to do something else.
Sure.
We might be able to pull that out, but
is it like a Christmas theme thing?
I don't think so. From what I remember, like I said, it's been a long time.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I know what you're getting at, what it kind of sounds like, and but yeah, it's just a thing that was made back in the day. It was done quite well, and it has become a thing with the Potter fans.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you for the suggestion, and yeah, we will definitely get to it because I know a lot of people want Josh to see it. But yeah,
just open those floodgates, Matt. Just let it happen.
Next email comes from. I'm going to struggle with this name. Perfect. We'll go with Wouter, perhaps?
Wouter?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's...
Spell it.
Wouter.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's gonna be what we anglicized into Walter.
Yeah.
Okay. But, yeah. It says, I am somewhat of a Harry Potter theorist. I am an English teacher in China, and I found your podcast about a month ago. I've been catching up every day bit by bit, just about to finish the Goblet of Fire by listening to your podcast anytime I don't have class. My students are big Harry Potter fans and have even recommended your podcast to them so they can listen to something they love and also learn at the same time. And they have started enjoying it. Great work, guys, and thank you.
First of all, thank you.
Yeah.
Second of all, I'm so sorry you have to try to teach with our horrible English.
And then our confusion with British English.
I'm sure that's not making it. To be fair, like that's only been like a more recent thing of us. So
he hasn't gotten there yet.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, oh no, I should not be recommending this to anybody trying to learn this language. But thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking as a Potterhead for many years, as I myself grew up with the magical world, and it has shaped my imagination. It is glad to hear Josh enjoying the world for the first time and going through the ups and downs that we all went through. However, Josh, I understand your feelings about Book 6 so far, as you probably want to get into the action immediately. But fret not. It's going to get better really soon, and excitement is about to start. Well, listening to your older episodes, I was hearing that you're quite suspicious about Crookshanks. Mm-hmm. Have you had any ideas on him since then? Any more Muggle theories?
I'm still suspicious. He's going to do something important. Like, I feel like I'm going to have to wait until, like, book 7. Like, it's driving me crazy. But there's no way that stupid cat is just a stupid cat. Like, there is more to that cat, and I will die before I admit otherwise.
All right.
I have no idea what. If it turns out that Tom transfigures himself into that stupid cat, I'm going to lose my mind, Matt. Like, I don't know. I want it to be big and grand, and I want, like, this entire journey for people to just be waiting for this moment of, like, the big Crookshanks reveal. It may never happen, but I have not been proved otherwise that Crookshanks is just merely a cat.
Okay. Says, thank you, Professor Matt, for taking Josh on this journey and helping him to experience like we all did. How you managed to keep your cool through all the new emotions and theories, I don't know, because I laugh out loud every time I hear an exceptionally crazy one. After you have finished up the series, you guys should also explore more of the other theories from the Potterverse. As all of us progress through the books, I will send you guys some more Muggle-friendly, spoiler-free theories to think about.
I would love that.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Next email comes from Miri.
Hi, Miri.
Says, hi, Matt and Josh. I've been listening almost since the beginning, but I'm just now getting around to writing in. Half-Blood Prince is my favorite of the series. I can't say why without his spoilers, but rest assured, Josh, you are in for a great ride. A ride which may or may not include chapters with people just having conversations.
Shocking. I never saw that coming.
When the 6th book came out, I was on a road trip to San Diego Comic-Con. Okay. So I had no idea how I was going to get my hands on a copy. Luckily, I ended up winning the book in a raffle at one of the booths. Huh. I was feeling kind of conspicuous in my cosplay. I had begrudgingly agreed to dress as a Green Lantern, who is literally green. Yes. Mm-hmm. And I remember my name being called, going up in front of everyone in my tights, snatching the book, and bolting to find a secluded corner to begin reading.
Sure.
Let me tell you, reading a highly anticipated nerd novel at a nerd convention is risky business. There is a lot of Harry Potter talk going around, and people were even throwing together outfits based on the book.
Mm.
Yeah. I also thought it might interest you guys to know that I am one of the painters who worked on the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Los Angeles.
What?
Yeah. She says, I came in towards the end to do detail work, like touching up the faux grain at Dervish and Bangs, and painting an age wash in between each beadboard seam in the ceilings of Glad Rags. I spent a whole day in the greenhouse just painting rust on every shiny new screw.
That greenhouse was like one of my favorite parts of Wizarding World.
Mm-hmm. And look at the detail that went into it that you probably didn't even notice.
Matt, why haven't we talked about mandrakes like in a while?
They haven't come up.
That's the problem, Matt. That's the problem. That's so cool.
Yeah. So I could find my friend. My friend spent a day on owl poop duty. That is one of the details I have noticed every time I go there. Have I ever pointed that out to you?
I don't.
Have you ever noticed that?
No.
Like they have
the first
this...
time I didn't see anything. The second time there was so much that I was trying to see that I probably missed way more than I should have.
Yeah. Like there's like a giant wall of owls. I think it's by the owlery or like the like the post office, right?
Right.
And they just put so much detail into the owl poop being splattered all over the place.
Nice.
It's so good.
Cool.
On my breaks, I would walk around the empty rides in the stores. I took a selfie in the mirror of Erised, which is located in the Forbidden Journey line. Of course, the mirror just reflected me alone in the dark hallway, since working on something Harry Potter related is my dream come true. The attention to detail that was put into the Wizarding World theme park was incredible. I was able to briefly meet Alan Gilmore, who was an art director on the films and the theme park. It was an amazing window into his world to hear him describe to another painter exactly how he wanted the dirt and mold to look in the greenhouse. Having worked as a painter at both Disney and Universal, I can tell you hands down that the level of detail on Harry Potter was much more intense. The only real downside of working in the Wizarding World was being there in the weeks when they were testing the speakers. The music plays constantly. I turned a negative into a positive by timing the music and using it as a guideline to get different projects done. I also tried to come up with stupid lyrics to the songs to help pass the time. So yeah, my colleagues thought I was kind of weird. But in Dervish and Bangs, the Monster Book of Monsters is on a sensor, which scared me every time I triggered it. The worst, though, were all the howlers going off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for giving me a new way to engage with Harry Potter. I listen to the podcast when I'm at work painting, and I laughed out loud the first time he said, "Creature be creature."
I hate that stupid house elf.
She also did send along a handful of pictures from what I can only assume was when they were painting, since they are definitely from the Wizarding World.
Sure.
But there seems to be not people around, except what I'm guessing is her, perhaps. Right.
See if we can figure this out again.
Yeah. Are you really going to make me send them one by one? Yep. That seems... Okay. Well, I have 5 pictures here that I'll be sent over.
Okay. Let's see. What is that? The greenhouse.
So, yeah, you can see a number of these. A lot of them I think are from the greenhouse, but a couple different areas.
Huh. That thing looks way different without hordes of people online.
Sure.
Why?
Yes, Josh?
Okay, the first 2 times I'm like, that's a weird picture to be... There's a head put on over the body of somebody, right? The first 2 pictures I'm like, okay, it's just using the head. It wasn't until the 3rd picture when I realized who that head was, Matt.
What would you like to tell the wonderful folks at home?
It is the professor that shall not be named. In various different expressions of smiling and happiness and joyful and glee and... God, he's the worst. This painting is amazing. All the details. Why him?
I had such a good laugh when I got that email. Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much.
You guys hate me.
They'll be in the show notes for sure. For anyone else who wants to
nobody should have to see that.
Enjoy this, as I did. Next email comes in from Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Says, hello, Josh and Matt. It's been a while since I've written in, and I'm hoping to do so more often now. I have not read books 6 and 7 nearly as much as I've read the first 5, so I'm noticing a lot of things that I haven't noticed before. The book 1 nostalgia is strong in chapter 6. This is one of the things I was talking about before, Josh.
Okay.
Think about this. Compare book 1 to book 6.
Okay.
Hagrid is there to escort Harry.
Yeah.
Hagrid turns down a drink from the innkeeper Tom because he's on official Hogwarts business.
Sure.
The first shop Harry visits is Madame Malkin's, where he runs into Draco Malfoy.
Okay.
Says, I think this really helps drive home the contrast between Diagon Alley pre-Bad Guy Tom and Diagon Alley post-Bad Guy Tom return. I think, personally, this is me, I think this is part of the reason you got that magic feeling again. Because it is like a perfect mirror of what we've got in book one. It's exactly what introduced you to the magical world first time. Like that was really the first time you got into the magical world.
Yeah.
Is Harry going to Diagon Alley.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think whether you realized it or not, she replicated that.
Yeah. I mean, like the darker alternate version of Diagon Alley.
Yeah, I mean, it's 6 years later, but it's that same entrance.
Yeah.
And that sense of wonder that you've been waiting for.
Yeah. It got me back in. I mean, unfortunately, she ruined it with the next chapter. But, I mean, still.
Yeah.
Yeah. I needed that chapter big time.
All right. Sarah continues. Harry really is a dumb 16-year-old boy. Purposely provoking known enemies in a public shop isn't a smart thing to do, even if you do happen to be the chosen one. We also see this recklessness on the train when he sneaks into the Slytherin compartment. Half-Blood Prince Harry has always been my least favorite Harry, and these two events contribute to why. One Harry detail in Chapter 7 that did warm my heart, though. A year ago, he was embarrassed to be seen with Luna and Neville on the train. Now he boldly proclaims them to be friends and effectively tells off that awful Romilda Vane for putting them down. Good for you, Harry. Josh?
Yeah, you almost die with somebody and your outlook on them changes.
Yep. Josh, would you enjoy being in the Slug Club? Why or why not?
No, I'd be bored to death.
And dare I ask, who's your favorite member at this point?
Jenny.
All right. I will refrain from asking you what you think Draco is up to because I'm sure plenty of other people have already done so by now. Not yet, but good call.
Yeah. I'm sure our two headmistresses and Alex will both have something to say about it, so.
All right. Next email then comes from Wetzel.
Hi, Wetzel.
This is actually an email I've been meaning to write for a few days now, but I keep forgetting. I don't know if you remember a couple weeks ago, you got an email from someone who told you that when Sirius Black died, the page number in the book was 711, which also happened to be Sirius' vault number at Gringotts.
Right.
So, before I get too much into this, I did go back and look at my book, and I believe that my version already was edited for the American. Like, there's a version of the book that takes out his vault number.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it like he just says like I had them go to my vault.
Gotcha.
Like he doesn't give a number even.
Okay.
So that was part of my confusion, I guess. Why I didn't realize that was such a big thing.
Sure.
But to continue on here. Says, well, when I first heard this, I couldn't believe it, and apparently from what you said in the show, you couldn't either. But for some reason, I couldn't shake the feeling that this is something J.K. Rowling would do. Now, I actually have British copies of the whole series at home, but since I'm a truck driver, I don't keep them with me out of fear of tearing them up. So until I get home and check mine at the end of the week, and I posted in a Harry Potter fan group that I'm on Facebook about it. I asked someone if they could look it up for me. Most of the few responses I got were from people saying that would be cool, but then one person commented with the picture I'm attaching here. Apparently, depending on which version you have, this is indeed absolutely true. Now, it's not true in my copy, even though it's the British one. Although it does make sense that through all the edits and re-edits over the years, and of course things are going to shuffle around. But if you have an older copy, especially an older British print, you might want to look at page 711 in Order of the Phoenix and check and see if yours is true. Also, JK is apparently has inhuman amounts of foreplanning, or she's the luckiest author in the world. So yeah, he sent along a picture here of a picture someone sent him.
Okay.
Oh boy, where did I?
We're all over the place on this one, folks.
I am, yeah. That's on me. So there's page 711 apparently.
Okay.
Once again, I checked page 711 in my copy, and that is not the page that Sirius dies on.
Sure.
Obviously, though, I have the copy I'm reading now, definitely not the British version, and it's not even the first American printing. So, like I said, it's been through so many printings and edits and everything that things shift around, I'm sure. This also makes me wonder, we've discussed how the last book seemed so unnecessarily long.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if JK had cut out a bunch of stuff, I'm not sure the book would have even been 700 pages.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if she was planning that, if she actually did put thought into that, I could see that being another reason she would have to keep that much stuff in there.
Yeah.
To make that happen. But that just seems like a poor choice. If that was the only reason to keep everything in there.
Right. And like ultimately, like, what's the benefit of that? You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's an Easter egg that.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, someone found, but
it doesn't change.
No.
Or add to
worth
anything.
It?
Yeah.
It essentially over the years, I guess, have made people think less of that book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I believe it could be there in some books. I'd 100% believe it could be a coincidence.
Right.
But I don't know. We may never know.
Nope. She will never say.
But yes, thank you for looking into that for us.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Next email from Noah.
Hi, Noah.
Says, hey, Josh, Matt, how are you?
Great. Thanks. How are you?
It's getting so close to
I
the
like
end.
conversational or emails like that.
Did you ever have a pen pal in grade school, elementary school?
No, I always wanted to. That always sounded fun to me.
Yeah. So we didn't have like international pen pals.
Mm-hmm.
We had pen pals with inner city kids.
Okay.
Do you understand when I say inner city, what that means generally?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like we had pen pals with, like I went to school in Waukesha. Means nothing to you, no. And we had pen pals in Milwaukee,
sure.
Which is 20 miles east of us.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Waukesha is probably like more suburbs than downtown inner city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, in grade school, we would, like second, third grade, we'd have his pen pals, and we'd write to him a number of times throughout the year. And I think 99% of every pen pal letter started, "Hi, so-and-so, how are you?
Right.
I am fine."
Yeah.
Like we didn't know any better. Like we didn't have stuff to write about. Like,
right.
It was weird.
Did you ever do messages in a bottle?
No.
I did a few of them as a kid.
Did you?
Yeah. With like that just vague, brief hope of like,
sure,
someone will find this, and I'll have a pen pal for life.
So like, do you like leave your contact information in there? Or?
Yeah. Put my address.
Did you ever hear back from anything?
No, never.
Okay.
Yeah, always bummed me out.
Yeah, I want to try that kind of. Anyway, it's getting
sorry, Noah.
It's getting so close to the end so fast. I'm starting to worry, but I guess that's a problem for future Noah to handle. Anyway, I'm writing this time because of something Josh said in episode 71. Chapter 4 about Dumby. I was going to say it's a typo, but he uses it a couple times in the email, so we have another nickname for Dumbledore now.
Sure.
Dumby.
Dumby.
Harry and the spiders with Dumby, Harry, and the spiders in the shack. I want to take you way, way, way back to the very first chapter that we read from Harry's point of view.
Okay.
One of the first things we learned about him is that he lives under the stairs with lots and lots and lots of spiders.
Oh, I know.
He's even getting one out of his sock in the most indifferent way ever because he's so used to sharing his room with them. So 5 books later, we get to see a weird moment, but something that Harry and Dumby actually share in common. They're both extremely unaffected by the presence of spiders, even in a small, contained space. And I guess it's a very small moment, but I really do like it.
I don't.
It's true. In October, for the first time, I visited the WB studio tour, and it was amazing.
I bet.
My very first encounter with the world that was not through the book or the screen. So being right there where everything was actually filming and taking place, I was holding on to excited tears throughout the whole tour. A dream come true. My visit was a week or so before Halloween, so the Great Hall was decorated with flying pumpkins and lots of dark arts points throughout the tour. And also a kind of new area in the tour was the Forbidden Forest, which I've heard about. I want to be there. And there's also the Hogwarts Express. Man, it was so good. Can't wait to do it again. I took lots of pictures, and the amount of which is ridiculous to try and share, but I have some that I would like to share. So I thought but I tried to really pay attention to spoilers and pictures. So he did include a number of pictures, some that should be spoiler free, a couple with spoilers that he sent along just for me. And so yeah, I'll send a few of these over to Josh here.
Okay. Just send all the spoiler ones. It's cool.
No, I think we'll try to keep things a little spoiler free for you. He did a good job of sorting out that. So the first one should just be like the opening of the tour. You got that?
The chamber door.
He recognized that. That's good. Well, we've talked about it a number of times because it was on the movie cover, wasn't it?
Yeah, the special movies I got. Yeah.
Yep.
That's the only reason I know, Matt. Let's be real. Oh, that made me shiver. I don't like that at all. Dumbridge's office.
Yeah.
That's a cool model. Hogwarts.
Yeah. And these last two are the models, which he says were a big model of Hogwarts.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I wouldn't be surprised if these are the models that they used for the flyover shots.
Right.
Yeah.
Where's the lake and where's the squid?
That would be a good question.
Come on, JK included it. Cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Thanks for all the pictures.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for all the ones I can't see too.
All right. Next email comes from our headmistress, Marissa.
Hello, Marissa.
Says, hello, my fine fellows. Thanks for the woo last week, Josh. It made me extremely happy. And thanks for the early episode release. Yeah.
You're still grumpy about that.
Yeah, a little bit. So my boyfriend and I went to the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in concert on Saturday.
Ooh.
That's where the local symphony, in this instance the Akron Symphony Orchestra, plays music that plays throughout the movie. It was beautiful and magical, and I was so excited. The conductor even spoke before, telling us that we should interact with the movie as we normally would. Every time a character came on screen for the first time, everyone would cheer, and there were lots of laughs to be had. Also, there were parts where everyone said the line along with the character. For example, "What an idiot!" And "It's Leviosa, not Leviosa," from Hermione.
Sure.
I forgot how much fun that movie is because because of how long it's been since I've seen it. The next movie is going to be done in April, and I'm going to order my tickets as soon as possible. I honestly, I think not only going back and watching those movies is better the second time around, but I think watching them with a crowd of Harry Potter fans would be amazing.
Right.
Yeah, I think just that experience is what makes it so good. Also, my boyfriend was in the car when I was listening to last week's episode, and he's wondering how old you two are. He thinks Josh sounds like he's 14.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had to explain to him that he's a dad. So if you don't mind, I'd like to know how old you are so I can report back.
I am 33. I will be turning 34 next week. I am a father of 6. 3 mine, 3 stepkids. 14?
Yeah.
14?
I was surprised at that too.
That's... Huh. Okay. 14. Yeah, no. Sorry. Born in 1983. I'm not a millennial. I'm born in the 80s, not the aughts.
Yeah, and I'm 31.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have to think about that sometimes.
After you hit 30,
exactly,
it's just, it all blends together. Like, I refuse to ever admit that was real until it happened to me, and, like, regularly, I will have to sit there and have to do math to figure out how old I am.
Yeah.
It's a blur.
Well, yeah, I think I've told you this story, Josh. Like, when I was turning 29, my brother was constantly telling me, "You're old. You're old." Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, in my mind, old was when I would hit 30.
Yeah.
And so he was telling me this like the whole time I was 28.
Sure.
And so when I hit my next birthday, in my mind, I was 30 because I was old.
Right.
And ever since that time, it's really been messed up in my head how old I am because like I was a year off then, and I had to go backwards, and now I'm like, okay, but where am I? I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
I feel you, man. I feel you.
It's one of those things like after you hit, I used to say like 21. Sometimes I can argue for 25, but
sure,
like there's just no major points. Like you get 16, you got your driver's license. 18, you're legally an adult. You can you know buy cigarettes and lottery tickets.
Sign up for the military.
Yeah, 21 you can drink. 25 you
can rent a
25
car.
Yes. Okay, you use that one too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But like I mean,
and the
how
next 30 is a milestone.
30?
Yeah, just because.
Okay, just because. Yeah.
But then 35 is the next real milestone.
So it's just you just kind of lose track.
Why is 35 important, Matt?
You can become president?
Bingo.
Okay. Yeah. If you really want to.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're.
But if I'm going to become president at 35, I better already be in politics, I think.
Matt, don't.
Okay. Never mind. I see what you're getting at.
I'm just saying, No, as a kid, I always pegged that 35 as like after 35, like that's like the legal age to become president.
Yeah. So I mean, like that's one of those I know, but I had never had any inclination towards politics or wanting to be president.
No, me either. But it was always funny.
Like, I mean, kind of like I'm not a smoker, so turning 18 wasn't a big deal for me.
Sure.
I don't play the lottery either, so like it's just one of those things. Like, yeah, you can legally do those things now, but do I? No.
65, man. You get senior citizen discounts on IHOP and whatnot. Early bird specials.
55 at Arby's, I think.
Is it 55?
Yeah, my mom's keeping track of all those.
Sure.
Yeah.
Goodness. 14? My oldest kid is 17. He's a senior in high school this year.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Sure. Okay.
Anyway, Marissa continues. I love that Hagrid was the security detail for their trip. He's always so proud of himself when Dumbledore gives him stuff to do. It makes me smile. So, Diagon Alley doesn't sound like fun anymore. Lots of shops boarded up, and the others having ministry posters in their windows, except for the twin shop. And you know, Pooh? Genius.
Yeah.
I love them. Not sure about selling love potions, though. What the heck is Malfoy up to? What does he need fixed? What did he show Borgin? What does Josh think of Harry's theory? Is he a Death Eater?
I mean, like Matt said, like by definition, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Also, Portkey.
All right. What kind of name is Arnold for a pet?
The best?
Just seems too human and mundane.
That's why it's amazing.
All right. Luna's lack of friendship before last year makes me sad. It was like having friends. Always breaks my heart a little bit. She is a pure soul and should be treasured. Treasured, I say.
Agreed. Here.
The Slug Club, Dilly Dilly. The Slug Club is a fascinating name for Slughorn's favorites. Is that something you could put on a resume later? And I love that Ginny got invited for doing an awesome hex on Zachariah Smith. Harry obviously hasn't learned that he needs to mind his own business. Being nosy does nothing but get him into trouble. And now he is in a very compromising position with no way out. What does Josh think will happen now?
I don't know. I mean, he's not going to go back to London. We know that. He'll somehow pull out of... I don't know. I wish I cared more about that chapter to have more thoughts about it.
All right.
They'll be at Hogwarts. They'll be fine. I don't know how. Maybe Luna could see him with her glasses.
Yeah?
Are they like X-ray vision glasses? Because, I mean, like,
That...
Moody could see through the invisibility cloak with his magical eye. What is she wearing those glasses for? Can she see invisible things like the invisible creatures that she keeps talking about?
I mean,
invisible slash
it makes you wonder. Makes you wonder about the Quibbler. Because, I mean, if they're just included in the Quibbler, anybody can get their hands on them.
Yeah.
Like, in my mind, I've always pictured these as, like, 3D glasses.
Sure.
Right? That's how they're kind of portrayed.
Right.
It's like, included in this magazine, you get these glasses and put them on while you read. But yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard to say at this point.
They're magical, though, so we'll see.
Next email then comes from our other headmistress. Good timing. Mel B.
Hi, Mel B.
Hi, Josh and Matt. Some notes on last week's episode. Pay rise is the only way I've heard it said in Australia. There's another vote for it.
Sure.
Also, I've never used the word fug.
Good.
Yeah.
Nobody should. It's just, it's just not good.
It's a bad word.
Yeah. It just, yeah.
And thank you, Kim. I thought the same thing about the so-called world baseball thing. I do not know sports ball, but I know all the teams are all American or Canadian. I don't care who's on the team. The teams are all North American.
Yeah, the teams are, but the players aren't. Look.
That's how people see it, though.
Okay. I'm going to have to do this while you continue the email. But I'm going to be Googling something here, so continue. But
okay.
I'll have to prove a point.
On to this week. No Muggle notes at the time of this sending, so I haven't been able to gauge Josh's thoughts on these chapters. I'm so happy to see Fred and George. I may have lost Sirius, but I still have the twins to make me laugh and be happy. It's great that the joke shop has gotten off the ground and is excelling in the dying Diagon Alley. People need laughter when times are tough. It's also great that they have items that create a shield. Even better, that the Ministry is purchasing them. J.K. does an amazing job of making everything darker and more tense in this book. While our heroes try to live normally, you see how things are getting worse. No one travels alone. Shopkeepers are going missing. Very scary. Draco is up to something naughty. Josh, what kind of item do you think Draco wanted to put on hold?
Port key.
What could we possibly be planning? What does he need to fix? Can't wait to hear your theories.
Yeah.
After reading a couple more chapters, what do you think about Bill and Fleur? Is this a good match? Should Bill be dating Tonks?
No, Bill and Fleur are fine. People need to lay off Fleur. She's not done anything to deserve, like, being bullied behind her back.
All right. Anyways, I will leave this email like Draco left Harry on the train. Ouch.
Defenseless?
Your guess is as good as mine. She's gone.
Poof. So, a quick search.
Okay.
To discover, because the people that are upset about the World Series being called the World Series happen to be from Australia, New Zealand area. There have only been 31 Australians to ever play at least one Major League Baseball game. Out of those players, 28 were born in Australia, and the remainder having been born elsewhere but raised in Australia.
Okay.
What I'm saying is there aren't a lot of good baseball players in Australia. So I think by default we win the World Series because there's no competition.
And I think that's kind of why they, like, to be perfectly honest, it bothers me that when someone wins the Super Bowl, so that is the American Football Championship for internationals, they refer to them as the world champions.
Right.
Like,
no one else is playing American football.
I mean, I will give them that, if any international teams came and played, the American team would dominate them.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what happened for so many years in basketball. Like our in the Olympics, our dream team would just dominate everyone. Now that's starting to change a little bit, but like it's the sports just don't tend to be as popular in other countries, and so I think it is fair to say in most cases that they're the best in the world.
Yeah.
Again, I can see the argument that they're not playing ever against other teams,
and that's why they do the World Baseball Classic, where they have teams from other countries that are made up entirely of people from those countries playing against each other.
Yeah. And you see that regularly in soccer.
Oh yeah, World Cup.
Well, yeah, because you have your club team and then you have your country team, or your national team,
right?
And they play for both. So, yeah,
you ladies need to just relax about the World Series. It's been the World Series since before many things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Next email then comes from Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
It says, hey, Matt and Josh. Josh, I know you got a lot of this last week, but I have to add my own 2 cents about your experience reading these first chapters. I hope the next time you read through the series, you'll appreciate these chapters more. I think the first time you read through the books, these fascinating chapters of world building, character development don't have nearly as much weight. So I hope for future Josh, his appreciation. So I have hope for future Josh and his appreciation of these fantastic chapters.
That's one thing I've wondered, and I don't think anybody could really answer it unbiasedly, without bias, that are these chapters that I did not like so much, do they get better with age after getting to the end of this book, or the next book or reading them again. Like, how many of you were able to read those first 2 chapters the very first time and sit down and say, those were amazing chapters?
Yeah.
And it's tough because everybody just kept reading.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is that we've all read them so many times that it's hard to say, oh, this is exactly how I felt my first time through.
Yeah. And whatever meaning and, foreshadowing and everything else that are, like, stuffed in those chapters, once you already know the story, you know why those may or may not be important. Mm-hmm. So they add a certain thing to you, where I'm sitting here like, okay, I just read these chapters and they were pretty boring.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If anybody is able to say, the first time I read these chapters, I sat there and said, these are the best chapters I've read yet, please let me know. I would love to hear that, but I just don't think that's possible for anybody to say.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I also want to remind Josh of a couple things. First, you want action. But remember what happened at the end of the last book when we got action? We also lost Sirius.
Okay, I want action that's like not going to kill anybody. So, anything that has Lee Jordan doing announcing for, like that kind of action.
Yeah, now you're just being picky.
I know.
You thought the chapters with Sirius were boring, but I'm sure when you reread Book 5, you'll appreciate them in a new way. As you read Books 6 and 7, prepare for the dialogue and be careful what you wish for. J.K. is not just writing kids' books anymore. Action could very well mean death, and we never know when we will be experiencing the last moments with a beloved character. We're at war, and things are very serious. J.K. doesn't do anything by accident, and she's a phenomenal writer. Every scene is important. Just try to appreciate the depth of some of the more dialogue-based chapters. I know it's hard, but I appreciate you trying and being honest about your discontent. I think that fits in perfectly with what you were just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the last episode, someone wrote about their litmus test for people being interested in Harry Potter, being whether or not someone knew who Winky was. I know someone who uses Mark Evans as their litmus test. How are you on that one, Josh?
Not as confident as I was last week.
Yeah?
Yeah, Mark Evans, huh?
Mark Evans.
Oh, boy.
That's a solid litmus test there.
Is that somebody that we've heard of yet? Is that a new character?
No, you have met Mark Evans, or read about him.
Nope, nothing.
Says, I doubt Josh remembers who Mark Evans is. But he is the kid that Dudley beat up in the beginning of Book 5.
Oh my God, stop it. That person didn't even have a name.
He did. He did. He was even on my list of new characters. I went back and checked just to make sure I didn't miss him.
Sure, cool. I didn't know we cared about Muggles in the story, but sure, whatever.
Why was he a litmus test? Because his last name was Evans.
So?
The same as Lily's maiden name. So many people went crazy with theories about who he was and why J.K. put him in the book. The fan theories were all over for a long time trying to figure things out. So he was my friend's litmus test to see just how deeply into Harry Potter someone was. If they knew about Mark Evans, they're a fan that he could talk to about deep, crazy theories. If they didn't, this friend would know that he couldn't go as deep with theories and conversation as he may have otherwise.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'll give you that.
Yeah, that's valid. I can see that.
At least you all know how deep you could go with me. What did I last read? Because that's as far back as I can remember.
Oh, we'll get you there. On J.K. not using normal words. She did this intentionally. She used her books to expand the vocabulary of the children reading them. So there are a lot of words in her books that don't normally appear in children's books. It's one of the many reasons I think that she is so amazing. For these chapters, I'll try to be brief. Fred and George are amazing. I love how they give Ron a hard time, but then they're ready to give Harry the world. To me, that shows that they are loyal to those who have shown them support, but have boundaries that are not afraid to draw with family. It makes them good businessmen, and they do it with such flair. Hagrid is back. I missed him. Harry is developing something of an obsession with Draco. How fascinating. He was kind of an idiot on the train, though. Way too desperate to get information, and being trapped in a small compartment with those who are not friendly at all? Not good. The Slug Club promises to be hilarious and tedious at the same time. I love that Ginny and Neville are both there with Harry. I love them both. Luna's presence in these chapters is also refreshing, and a welcome return of a beloved character. Though I hated Romilda Vane's reaction to Harry sitting with Luna and Neville, apparently thinking that they weren't good enough for him. Shame on her. They're awesome. Also, Josh, I hope you understand why I was in favor of Ginny's outrage at Fleur last week. She insulted Tonks. That's not okay.
Did she, though?
Fleur?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. Okay. I'm sure there's so much more to say on these chapters, but this email's already late and long. I can't wait to hear Josh's theories about Draco's plans, how Harry will get out of his predicament, and if he has any other fun theories to dissect.
I'm sorry. I went back to Crookshanks in this episode, so...
It's true.
Good luck. Good luck.
Can we get another early release for this episode? That was such an unexpected delight last week.
Not if you want Matt to be happy.
Yeah. Next email from our dear friend, Atari Alex.
Hi, Alex.
This is Dear Josh and Matt. I guess I never paid attention before this podcast started, but Harry Potter news somehow manages to come out a lot more frequently than I ever realized. And of course, we got the granddaddy of all Harry Potter news last week, a mobile game. But I already sent in a ridiculously long email with my thoughts about it, so I'll just move along. These chapters. If it wasn't for the visit to Fred and George's shop, I don't think I would have anything positive to say about them. Other than that one brief scene, the rest is either boring or makes me downright angry. But let's start with the good stuff. Weasley's Wizard Wheezes is extremely cool. If I could choose one place to visit in the Wizarding World, not the theme park, their shop would definitely be in consideration. It just goes to show that you don't have to finish school in order to be successful in life, which is something I remind myself every day as I get ready to take my finals. Anywho.
Just walk out in a parade of fireworks, Alex.
Yes, please. And broadcast it.
Yeah.
Anywho, Harry gets the bright idea to follow Malfoy into Knockturn Alley, which, while childish, could have turned out worse. Still, the fact that Harry feels the need to investigate Malfoy like he's Sherlock Holmes is irritating to me, especially when the next half of the chapter is devoted to Harry coming up with crazy conspiracy theories about what it all means. I definitely sympathize with Ron and Harry while reading this. Ron and Hermione. Wow.
Yeah.
Moving along, I found another typo in the book. When Harry spills the beans to Mr. Weasley about what he saw, he says Malfoy wants something fixing. I'm 99% sure that's not grammatically correct, and even if it is, or it's another weird Britishism, it's still confusing. Did you run across anything like that?
There was one thing that Val stumbled over that she read a couple times. She was like, nope, that's how it's written.
Yeah.
It might have been that, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did run across that in my book, too. And, yeah, I stumble over it, and Yeah, unless it is really some weird Britishism, which this one, I mean, it's more of a phrase.
Right.
So I have a harder time coming up with something. Like, it could be, I guess. I don't know. But
Matt, last week we sat here and said that pay rising was absolutely wrong and didn't exist. So,
but yeah, it says, Mr. Weasley, I'm sorry, but isn't it worth investigating? If Malfoy wants something fixing and he needs to threaten Borgin to get it done, it's probably something dark or dangerous, isn't it? I mean, it simply sounds like it should be if Malfoy wants something fixed,
sure,
or needs or has something that needs fixing.
Yeah,
you know, like
Matt,
I don't know.
I'm done trying to say that something's a typo.
All right, it's in my book too, for the record.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say. On an equally random side note, I realized something for the first time when Harry was walking past Cho and Marietta. The hex that Hermione placed on the piece of paper wrote out "sneak" on Marietta's face. But she didn't really do anything sneaky. What she really did was snitch on the DA. But that wouldn't make sense to have that on her face because people would get confused as to why she labeled herself as a Quidditch ball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
I've always thought that too. The term sneaks and snitches kind of go together. But yeah, I never really thought of her as a sneak so much as a snitch.
Sure.
So I can see her using that just to not get confused with Quidditch.
Yep. Yeah, she kind of
wrote herself into a corner.
Pretty much. Dang it.
After that, and the awkward lunch with Professor Slughorn, last side note. Is pheasant really better for an old man's digestion than candy?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But yeah, pheasant is not all that pleasant. Anyway, we have the final scene in the chapter. I've mentioned before that Harry as the protagonist of the story generally frustrates me, but here he just downright pisses me off. When I think of the idiotic things Harry Potter does throughout the 7 books, this act, for me, epitomizes his recklessness and general inability to think things through. What did he hope to gain from doing this? Did he really expect Malfoy to lay out his whole plan to a bunch of characters, one of whom had never been mentioned before, right here in the train?
Yes.
Was the risk-reward on that really high enough, considering how hard it would be for him to even get into the compartment in the first place? Has he realized that after 5 years of adventures with the mystery only 5 years of adventure that the mystery only gets explained at the end of the school year, usually by Dumbledore? I mean, seriously, there's courage and all that Gryffindor nonsense, and then there's just stupidity. And Harry took a diving leap over that line and landed in a pit of snakes, and now he's paying the price. We're only 3 weeks in, and I had forgotten how much this book makes me mad.
Oh, it's going to be a long few months with you, Alex.
So only one thing in there I have to question.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't question it so much, except he underlined it.
Okay.
It was to Malfoy reveal his plan to a whole bunch of characters, one of whom had never been mentioned before. And I went back and looked a couple of times. I'm not sure who he's referring to, unless he, like you, kind of thought Zabini was new.
Right.
Which,
possible.
Like I said, we've mentioned before, but he never had a conversation with him, really.
Sure.
Because I'm pretty sure the people who mentioned that compartment were Crabbe, Goyle, Malfoy, Pansy Parkinson, and Blaise Zabini.
Right.
All of whom have been mentioned before. So if I got that wrong, or I'm thinking of the wrong situation or something, please let me know, Alex, because I'm curious to know who you think that is.
Let's go inside the mind of Alex here.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to prove you wrong or anything. I'm just curious if I missed someone.
Sure.
So.
Fair enough.
All right. And then the final spot this week
Ooh.
goes to Katie.
Hi, Katie.
says, "Hi, guys. Whoa, I forgot it was Monday. Hopefully this email comes in on time. I'm sending out job applications and lost track of time. And what a day it was, apparently. The Patreon notification for Josh's notes reminded me, although I can't open them in the app for some reason. So I guess I'm flying blind." I'm hilarious. Okay, maybe not.
I feel like she tests me to like see if I'm going to laugh or not. And I don't know how I react appropriately to that.
The fact that she repeatedly throws in blind jokes, I think
know.
she's okay with it.
I know, but okay. All right, continue.
This is getting redundant by now, but what on earth is Dearest Draco up to? Is
No
Harry
good.
right? Does he have the dark mark?
No.
I guess we haven't asked that specifically. Does he have the dark mark?
No.
Okay.
He probably has like a temporary tattoo version of it or something. A henna tattoo.
Yes. The wannabe Death Eaters.
Uh-huh.
He started his own club, Death Eater Jr.
Exactly.
Also, I've always thought the Slug Club was a rather revolting name. What sort of extracurricular activities were you involved in high school? Well, there was this Slug Club. Black.
We avoided salt.
Yes. Although I'm glad Ginny Hex Zachariah Smith. On a side note, the Bat Bogey Hex does not sound very pleasant. Oh, what a fix Harry's gotten into. I remember my dad's first listen to the audiobook. Mom made him stop after this chapter to go eat dinner or something. I still remember him protesting. But Harry's got himself into a situation.
Well, yeah, he always does.
Yeah. I just remembered that I haven't put away the shepherd's pie I made for dinner, so I'm going to go do that before I forget again. That's impressive. I don't know many people that actually make shepherd's pie. Well, maybe the English do better more often than I think. But
it's been a long time since I had shepherd's pie.
Have you ever made it?
I've never made it. I remember my grandma making it when I was a kid. That's probably the last time I've had it. It was, I mean, I'm only 14, so a couple years ago.
Yeah. Well,
wow.
That's all I got for you today.
Well, we have an amazing community of listeners, and I thank each and every one of them for everything that they do to make this show special and awesome and in every possible way that they can. Because of that, we're going to do what we always do, and that's announce another giveaway for next week. Matt, what are we giving away next week?
This week we are giving away a pair of Spectre Specs.
Ooh. Exciting.
Yeah.
Do they work?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
You'll have to wait and see.
Dang it! I figured at this time of night I might be able to slip one by you.
No, running high on the caffeine tonight.
Okay, so they are like a full like adult size pair of Spectre Specs. Okay.
Yeah, they're meant to be like, I don't know if costume quality is actually like good quality or not,
okay.
but they should hold up, and yeah, they're not child size.
Cool. Okay.
As far as I know.
Just throw that out there. Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I want everybody to write in talesfromgodricsilo@gmail.com. And we need to name the Niffler from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So send in your best Niffler name. All
right.
What should the Niffler from the movie franchise be named?
I like this.
Yeah.
There should be some good submissions.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I would name it, but
you got a week to think of a name, Matt, because I will be asking you next week.
All right.
Okay. Also ask your wife, because she's really good at that kind of stuff.
It's true. She loves naming things.
So I expect a different answer from you than her.
Okay.
You can't just use hers and say it's yours.
Okay.
So yeah, just send in a quick email. What do you want that Niffler? What should that Niffler be named? talesfromgodricsilo@gmail.com. Next week we will be reading chapters 8 and 9 of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Indeed.
Yeah, everything should be on schedule as far as that's concerned. You can find me personally on Twitter at The Noise with a Y. You can follow the show on Twitter at Tales from GH. You can follow us on Instagram, Tales from Godric's Hollow. You can follow the Facebook page, facebook.com/Tales from Godric's Hollow. You can go over to the website where you can find the show notes. You can find the shop. You can find direct links to episodes to listen to. You can find anything that you may need regarding this show and this community. talesfromgodricshollow.com. And if you'd like to support us, like so many of you amazing people do out there, you can do so over on Patreon, patreon.com/Tales from Godric's Hollow. Matt, where can the people say hello to you at?
You can always find me personally on Twitter at As a Matter of Matt. Otherwise, whatever kind of emails, whether it be for the giveaway, spoilers, pictures, random emails for the show, emails not for the show, whatever you feel like. Tales from Godric's Hollow at gmail.com.
Perfect. Matt, have safe travels this weekend, my friends.
I will.
We will resume this adventure next Monday, as always. Until then, Muggle out.
Mischief managed.